Legend behavior, legend behavior, locked in. Y'all know what time it is. Locked in, locked in, locked in. Play. I make the rules, rack up the jewels, make it look smooth. You know how I do. Running this kingdom. Wish you could be me. Better look up, cause that's where you see me. Give me the crown now. Cause I own the throne now. I hold the scroll now. I'm in control now. Ruling the game. I'm ruling the game.
Hello everyone, welcome. This is the final round for the Balkan GT Challenge. Started around January, 4 races between 3 countries, 3 nations, Greece, Turkey, Romania. We from F1 Action alongside with the Racing League Romania and Simracers Turkey. We did an effort to gather the best Simracers from all 3 countries, from all 3 leagues and put them in the same track, in the same actually 4 tracks, for a mini league, an endurance league of 3 hours to see how they will perform, to bring the best out of them and hopefully amuse you with their races and their performances. We are at Nurburgring, for the final round of the Balkan GT Challenge, and we will be live shortly from the track. There have been some minor technical issue with the server actually, so I will just have to reconnect. You will give me and you will bear with me for a few minutes just to get on track again, so we can have a clear picture of what's going on. It was raining a bit in the previous settings of the server. Currently it's not, and you will see it shortly once I connect to the server. And after that I will just pass you all the news from the Balkan GT series, the Balkan GT Challenge actually, the standings, where we are with the final round coming up ahead us, and what should we expect from tonight's race here at Nurburgring soon, very soon after the update of Assetto Corsa Competizione. So yes, finally I made it. I'm on the server, and hopefully you will be able to have the track on your screens. Excellent. So there we are as driver starts to warm up. This is the final round of the Balkan GT Challenge at Nurburgring, and it's gonna be a race not very crowded. There are a lot of absentees tonight, and unfortunately for the Greek part, I'm not sure, but we will confirm it as time goes by. I think the top crew from the Greek members the crew of Omega won't be participating tonight, unfortunately. And that's a big shame because they were in the second place in the standings, in the driver standings, in the team standings, sorry, actually. And they had pretty good chances to put a good effort here at Nurburgring and try and claim the first place in the team standings. We will see if they will join up until the start of the qualifying session that will start at 19:45. So we have a few minutes in our disposal. So let's move on and see the standings and where its country stands. No, actually, sorry about that. We will see the roster for its team, for its nation. So we were hoping to see Haris Mitropoulos with Klironomos tonight with Omega Sports, but I don't think that they will be able to make it. Actually, Mitropoulos was looking for a teammate up until the last moment, since his initial teammate Panos Kirkos was not able to join in the last two races. So we will see what will happen with Omega. We will definitely have Game Space MC Sports with Petros Prokos and Yorgos Parthenis. They have done a solid performance throughout Season 0. And tonight at Nurburgring they will give their last shot to climb up the standings. Panagiotakopoulos will be joined by Delphinis in Missed Apex Sim. Actually, an interesting information is that Panagiotis Delphinis for our league in F1 Action last Wednesday we raced here at Nurburgring, 2 45-minute sessions. He managed to win them both. So we expect a pretty solid performance from Delphinis tonight as well. Let's see if he can claim a victory again. Panagiotis Petsas alongside him will have Voudouris with Roadrunner Vroom Vroom. Tasopoulos will be joined this night by Aristomenis Panopoulos for Omega Red. Definitely we will have an Omega tonight. Spiropoulos with his teammate from the beginning to the end of Season 0, Labru, for Helasim Gold, and then we'll have Takur and Giannakopoulos, another duo that we have seen from day one up to the last race tonight with Helasim Missed Apex Racing, sorry. Mamoulakis with Saradis, who will be in the third, if I remember correctly, we will cross-check it later on. They are third in the standings, and they have mathematical chances to claim the first position. So we will see how Mamoulakis and Saradidis for Roadrunners Bibib will do tonight. Davidis will be making his debut alongside with Soropidis for Cosmos Rally Kart Academy. And finally, another duo that we've seen in 3 out of 4 races, Ilias Siopis with Christian Gzibowski, will be representing Hellas Sim Purple. Moving on to see the Turkish crew, without me being able to know how many of them will be present tonight. We have Yunesu with Aydin for Sensible Racing, Aydogan with Sarikaya for Denizbag Wildcats, Aichicek with Ipek for Team Anatolia, Yuce alongside him will be Saritas for Chemically. Then we will have Akiol with Unal for Caspian Motorsport, Akbulukt and Keskin will race for Aperta Motorsport. Selvi, Berkan will race for Simracers Turkey, for their racing team of course. And Albal and Aydogan will be representing S-Force. These are the 8 expected Turkish crews to join the race tonight. And finally, for our fellow Romanians, we have Drago Simeon and Victor Nicolae for Football Club Rapid 1923 sports team, the home version, because we have an away version as well. We have Horatiu with Grama for Digital Racing Squad VSG, Oprea and Konstantin for Cerberus Racing Project, Pirvu and Enache for PG Motors, Michinet and Boltasu for Wise Racing, Savescu and Mistreanu for Monday Racers, Prepelica, Tufeanu for Adservio Esports, Apostol and Miklea for the away team, the away version of Football Club Rapid 1923 sports team, and Kirvarse and Movilla will be racing for GTS Motorsport. I'm not quite sure if all 9 crews will be present tonight, but that is something that we will find out together as the stream goes on, just before the race of the qualifying, the start of the qualifying. And let's move on to see the standing. This is where it gets interesting. So, after 3 rounds for the Balkan GT Challenge, Football Club Rapid 1923 Home has not lost the first place since the beginning of this event. They still stand first with 70 points, followed closely by Omega Sports with 64 points, but there are high chances that Omega Sports won't make it tonight. So, the next team that could possibly challenge Football Club Rapid is the crew of Roadrunner BB of Sarandidis and Mamoulakis. We meet the first Turkish crew in the 4th place, Team Anatolia, with 47 points. And then we have another Greek crew, Helasim X Mar, or Mistapex Racing, with 39 points. Sensible Racing from Turkey are 6th with 38 points. And 7th is the sister team of Roadrunner BB. It's the Roadrunner Vroom Vroom crew with 35 points, followed closely by the Romanians of Wise Racing with 34 points. Then we have a series of Greek crews in positions 9, 10, 11 and 12 respectively. We have Mistapex Sim with 32 points, Game Space Mediterranean College with 30 points, Helasim Purple with 27 points, and Omega Red with 24 points. Then we have Tenax Racing from Turkey with 24 points as well. There will be a battle there. And Digital Racing AKM with 22 points, followed by Helasim Cold 1 point behind, 21, and Cerberus Racing Project with 19 points. Moving on to see the rest of the crews in the team standings. We have in P17 Chemically from Turkey with 18 points, Digital Racing VSG with 17 points from Romania, 16 points for Football Club Rapid 1923 away team. They actually missed one race, so that's why they're further behind in the standings. Cosmos Rally Kart Academy in the 20th place with 14 points. Simracers Turkey have only 8 points, standing 21st. 22nd in the standings we have the crew of Monday Racers with 5 points. Then they're followed by S-Force with 4 points. At Servio Sports from Romania have 3 points. PG Motors have 2 points. Aperta Motorsport haven't managed to score any points. And after that you can see all the crews that missed races, and of course missing a race is not without a penalty. That's why you see all those minus signs in front of them. And just give me a second to remove all those graphics from your screen so that we can see where the nation standings, where we are regarding the nation standings. There we go. So you can see the Greek crews have managed to seal the first place. I'm not very good at math, but it will take a miracle for Romania to overcome the Greeks in the first place, who have scored 334 points. Points come from 2 victories. The Greek crews have managed to take 3 pole positions out of 4. We will see if they can achieve the ultimate by taking the last pole position here at Nurburgring, and they have achieved 2 times the fastest lap of the race. The Romanians, on the other hand, won the very first race, the opening day of the Balkan GT Challenge, and managed to achieve 1 fastest lap, with the Turkish crews who did their best but haven't managed so far to win a race or a pole position. They stand last in the standings with 155 points. Actually, they're very close with the Romanian crews. If they do an excellent performance tonight and the Romanians by any chance get unlucky, there is some chances, mathematical chances, for Turkey to finish second in the standings. So there you have it. And we are on track as qualifying has already started. It's time for me to pick up the volume from track so you can see, you can hear the cars and all of their lovely, lovely noises. as drivers will push them to the limits and beyond in their effort to get the pole position. In all kinds of motorsport, starting from pole, of course, it's something that all drivers wish, but in a race of 3 hours, where you have to swap drivers and everything can happen, it's not a disaster if you do not get it. A lot can happen during the race, and we have seen it in the Balkan GT Challenge so far. And now you have also the tower. So we can count only 15 crews. Full grid is 30 crews, as we started in Silverstone a few months ago. So a lot of absentees tonight. But the most important absence tonight, it's the absence, unfortunately, for Omega, who were standing seconds in the race. Actually, they have won 2 races. They won at Kyalami the last race as well. So they had mathematical chances, big chances, to challenge the crew of Rapid, who, if nothing goes terribly wrong, they could possibly seal tonight the championship in the team standings. The only crew that is close and can and will be a problem, something that they will have to think about, is that crew of Roadrunner Beep Beep. Currently, Delphinis is standing in pole position. As I told you earlier on during the stream, he won our race for F1 Action last Wednesday here. He had an exceptionally good performance both in qualifying and in the race. He actually sealed the pole position as well. So let's see if he can do that again. So far we have 2 BMWs in the first 2 positions, and then it's Sarantidis with his Porsche in 3rd place currently, followed by another 2 BMWs, the ones that you can see right now on your screen, of Yorgos Parthenis for Game Space Mediterranean College. He's actually improving his lap time, while we will have to go to Victor. He's currently standing, but he's moving nearly half a second faster from his previous lap time. Pretty aggressive on the exit of the previous turn, climbing up all over the curb, and of course he will take pole position, for now at least, by 0.04 of a second from Delphinis. Well, Apostola missed that. His teammate snatched it from him. 1:53.275. Amazing lap time by Seb here. Sarantidis is also improving. Petsas is improving, but he will not climb much higher. Actually, Parthenis snatched 5th place from him. Aydin is 7th. Gzibowski is 9th. Actually, at this point, everybody is improving his lap times. And by improving, I mean by a lot, judging from what I see here in the timetables. But currently, from what I can see, and It's Victor Nicolae who will challenge his teammate for pole position. Actually, they're not teammates, but they're in the same crew there for Football Club Rapid. One is with the home team, the other one is with the away team, two sister teams, so it's let's say a civil battle up until now for those two. And Saradi, this is also improving 400ths of a second. Let's stick with Nicolae. It will be really, really close up to the checkered flag. Victor lost some time in the last turn. Nicolae is coming to improve, and he does improve. 1:52.995. That will be, I don't know if anyone can challenge that. Saradidis messed it up in the last sector, so he misses his chance. Parthenis is moving at the exact lap time as previously, so it won't be easy to improve as Delphinis comes to try to keep his fourth place. He did improve, but not by a lot. Seb Apostol, I don't think that we will be seeing him again. The lap time that he set is really hard to challenge. Perpelica is currently 9th. He moved one place ahead of Christian Grzybowski, who was 9th, but he is improving by 2 seconds. It's only 10 minutes, the qualifying session, and given the absentees tonight, the track is it's pretty easy to find clear track ahead of you and push in contrary to the previous races where we had nearly 30 crews and there would be traffic almost everywhere. Currently it's only Prepelica who is improving by 300ths of a second, and Grzybowski behind him. This is their own battle for P9, P10. If they can keep it up, they could climb up to 8. It won't be easy. So Sebastian Apostol, who is currently holding P1, I don't see who can threaten him. It's Delphinis who is improving, but not enough. He will stay 4th. Petsas is also pushing and coming a bit faster. Can he snatch position from Parthenis? No, he will remain 6th. Voltasu, who is 9th, did improve. So we have Ipek in P8 currently trying to improve his starting position for his crew. And Boltasu will be the last one. They're both improving. So let's see Ipek. Pretty aggressive on the S. He lost the rear of Ferrari there, but he somehow managed to make it stick, but that will cost him a lot of time. That's why he's not improving. And finally we have the McLaren of Boltasu, and Savescu is also coming with his Mercedes from P14th. Let's see if he can improve. He did improve his lap time, but not enough. He will start from P14. And Boltasu now is aiming for P10 of Prepelica. If he can improve, yes, 2 seconds, 200ths of a second. I can hear the tires squeaking as he pushes through the last corner. Over the start-finish line, no, he will remain 11th. And this is it for the qualifying. So we have Sebastian Apostol. Let me just bring the... No, actually I will have to remove all those from your screen. so that we can bring the timetable in front of your screen, so you can see that Sebastian Apostol with his teammate Mikla will be starting from pole position here at Nurburgring, and with the purple colors you can see the fastest sectors per driver during the qualifying. So Sebastian Apostol did the best first and third sector of the track, which brought him that 1:52.995 that brings him in pole position, followed by Victor Nicolai and Drago Simeon, the other Rapid crew, who will start second. Mamoulakis and Sarandidis, their crew, Roadrunner, will start from P3, followed by Panagiotis Delphinis and Panagiotakopoulos in P4. James Pace will start from P5, and Roadrunner Vroom Vroom will start from P6. Then we have the Turkish crew of Güneş and Aydin in P7, another Turkish crew of Acicek and Ipek at P8. Gzibovski and Siopis will start from P9. Tufeanu will start the race, and later on Prepelica will take over from P10. Same goes for Boltasso and his teammate Mitsinete, who will start in P11. Davidis and Soropidis, their crew, hold currently P12. Spiropoulos and Labru, P13. Savescu and Mistreanu will start the race from P14. And Tasopoulos on the wheel will start from P15. And later on we will see Aristomenis Panopoulos taking over the wheel. We will see when the teams will choose their strategy, but they are obliged to swap drivers during the race. On your screens now you can see how they achieve points throughout the Balkan GT Challenge. The top 20 crews of every race score points that count towards the Nations Championship. All 4 races have been stewarded by a crew of stewards. So we have live stewards who assess all incidents occurring, or at least the ones that are being reported by teams during a race, and they hand out penalties live. Alexandros Likovan and Stathis Kokorogenes will be joining me later on.
I'm already here.
Oh, speak of the devil, they say. And yep, we have Alex with us. Good evening, Alex. Welcome.
Good evening.
You are actually you could be out in the grid, feeling the grid. A lot of absentees tonight in the last race. I don't know if it is that they just, some of them lost hope of claiming something more from this season 0. But the big unfortunate event is that Haris Mitropoulos, as far as I know, couldn't manage to find a teammate for the last race and have an opportunity to challenge Rapid for the team championships tonight.
That's a real shame, because I was really considering them as favorites for this final as well. They won the last 2 races. We're talking, of course, about Omega Esports with Haris Mitropoulos and 3 different teammates in the 3 races that we've had. All the time they were leading. I think they scored all pole positions, all 3 pole positions in the prior rounds.
Correct.
And now they were just 6 points behind Rapid Esports, which meant the final would have been a winner-take-all situation, a situation in which just by winning the race without Rapid scoring the fastest lap, it would have been enough for Omega Esports to tie on points and have 3 wins to 1, so to claim the Balkan inaugural title. Unfortunate, really unfortunate not to have them around, which means it's gonna be a different situation for the victory altogether. I think that for Victor Nicolai and Dragoș Simeon in the number 19 car, the script has really changed now. They don't really care about the win. They will be conservative, trying to defend the lead that they have, compared to their closest rivals now, which are the Roadrunner number 777 team, third on the grid, with Mamulakis
and Saranditis,
yes, ready to pounce. So we had 5 cars still in contention for this championship, and 2 of these are not currently in the race. We talked about Omega Esports, the number 6 Porsche, not being in this race with Harris's issue of not finding a teammate. I just exited a race where Victor was, Seb was, Andrei Miklea was, and Yanis Hurdakis also was racing there. So he was one of the candidates that weren't available now. The other team that still had the chance to score something, to possibly claim a mathematical victory in here, was the Honda NSX in 5th place, number 213, Helasim and Mist Apex Racing. Unfortunately, we don't have them either.
Yeah, I was expecting them to be here, but they're not.
Yeah, which only leaves Rapid Esports with 70 points, Roadrunners with 51, so 19 points adrift, and Team Anatolia with 47, so 23 points behind Rapid Esports in this fight for the championship. And also, as I was saying, I think this gives a big chance to Sebastian Apostol and Andrei Miklea to race at the front, to race for victory, because Victor and Dragos don't really need those points.
And the battle for pole position was what I called it a civil issue, a civil war if you want, between the two rapid crews. Sebastian Apostol did an amazing lap time of 1:52.99 something.
I could say that he's well trained now. He did qualifying for the Virtual Endurance Masters last evening, and he did a 33.0 there, but it was a super pole challenge, so just one attempt to do it, and that was it. Now he had more opportunities to settle into a rhythm, and he can risk going in the 52s, and he finally delivered the 52 there, which is awesome to see.
So let's see if things will go as you say, if they will, since they don't have Omega to worry about, if they will do a conservative race or if they will give it all for the victory no matter what.
I think there's a scenario that we will talk about after the start, as we are now approaching with everyone going through the last chicane. We are going for this final. It's a beautiful sunset, clear blue skies. It would have been random weather. Anything could have happened in terms of the weather scenario, but finally the track is dry, 21 degrees air temperature, and we are ready to race for the final time in this inaugural season of the Balkan GT Challenge. And here we go with the 2 BMWs on the front row. Sebastian Apostol has the inside line, and Mamulakis already is trying to get inside of Victor Nicolai in the first corner. Let's see if he makes it. No, not the case. The Roadrunner Porsche remains in P3, and then it's Delphinis and Parthenis with more BMWs there. A lot of BMWs. You will see this as we decided just in your domestic league in Greece not to allow the new Porsche. The old one, I don't think it's as good as the new one. The new one is clearly the favorite now around the Nurburgring. In a parallel race that happens today, it's nothing but Porsche at the front. But here the BMW has a chance against this old Porsche that needs to finish the season as it is.
I was about to say a pretty clean start. We just had an incident. I saw a Cosmos Rally car in the back heading for the grass after a small contact with the Mercedes. I believe it was actually it's the only Mercedes. It was Savescu who dived on the inside. There was a small touch, made the Cosmos Rally car Academy car to lose control, but nothing changes at the top. But maybe it will, because I can see Victor Nicolai all over Sebastian Apostol. We will see how those two will handle it. since Mamulakis seems to be losing ground currently. He's nearly a second behind them after the start of the race, but we have almost 3 hours ahead of us, and we have seen it throughout Season 0. Anything happen.
You only need 2 cars to make up a beautiful fight, and as you see, even in Formula 1, since Formula 1 is on our TVs this weekend, sometimes those 2 cars may be from the same team, and still you can have a great spectacle there. We see it right now as Sebastian Apostol is leading at the end of lap 1, but Victor Nicolai is definitely not there to stay in second. They were sharing the car in VEM earlier today, but now they have a chance to have a friendly contest there. Of course, they're not going to risk anything silly, but I assume it's a pleasure for them as well to be fighting here, especially since now they're basically free to do almost everything they want in this situation without Omega Esports here.
Boltasu is currently holding the fastest lap of the race in P11, and he's applying some pressure on the Mercedes of Savescu in front of him with clearly with their Romanian flag coloration. When you were saying that the Seb and Victor were sharing the car earlier, how much earlier? And how long was this race?
So basically, this race is still going on. They have a third driver in our crew, which comes from the Netherlands. He's not from the Balkan region, so he can finish the race. There are still 2 hours remaining of the 8 hours of the Nurburgring. So if the Greek teams had the chance to practice for the Balkan Championship in a domestic round this week, I just saw your round. Yeah, some of the Romanian guys, at least the ones that are fighting at the front, they did so today. So Sebastian started at 2 p.m. and did 3 hours of racing. Victor did the other 2, so they have had enough of the Nürburgring already for today. They weren't, I mean, the happiest to still run again, but sometimes, you know how it is. These competitions have been planned months before. The Balkan series was announced way before the Virtual Endurance Masters. So when we decided to fight on all these fronts, we knew that we're gonna have these overlaps, and that's why the teams are international. With a team comprised only of Romanians, we couldn't have made it either on one front or the other. So basically, yeah, that's the case. Both Seb, Victor, and later today Andrei Miclea have been racing on the Nürburgring for a lot of hours. Andrei Miclea has already 5 hours under his belt on the Nürburgring. He's really tired, and we'll see when Seb will pass on the car to Andrei what he will be able to still squeeze for another hour and 20, an hour and a half, something like that. So he already joked to me and told me that I need to pay his bill for a relaxation massage or physiotherapy or something like that. And I'm happy to do so if we are winning on both fronts.
They can consider it as a practice for maybe a 24-hour race in the future, all those hours of racing. In any case, we can only thank them for honoring their the race today.
Oh, Victor is spinning out of the chicane. Victor has spun.
I missed that, I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's dropping behind Robert Prepelic next to the Ferrari of Levent Ipek on the inside. What's going on in there with Victor now? He's back attacking the Ferrari. It's a freeway fight there with Ipek and Savescu. Victor is trying to regain those places as early as he can, and behind, Boltaș is being hit by the Audi of Zibovski. Everything happens now into turn 1. Lampro and Tassopoulos now wheel to wheel in turns 2 and 3. this race looks great until now.
Yeah, if you were expecting to see something boring with only 15 crews, they're already showing their intentions of fighting and pushing to the limits. We don't know what happened with Nikolai. Hopefully there will be some information maybe on the chat of the live, and we will have Stathis Kokorogiannis joining us by 8:30, and that's in 15 minutes. Now let's stick with Victor, as he will definitely want to climb up where he was. He was in P2. Now it's Mamoulakis in P2, but he's 4.8 seconds behind Seb Apostol. And I don't know, he will be definitely pushing to at least keep the gap there, if not decrease it. But he will also have to check back on his mirrors, because the guy that you can see here on your screens, Panagiotis Delphinis, won at Nurburgring for our championship last Wednesday. Actually, there was 2 legs, 2 45 minutes races. He snatched the pole position and he won both legs of the race by a pretty substantial margin for their from the competition. So let's see.
Oh, there's another one going wide. It's the Audi. It's the Audi.
Grzybowski, yes, it's Christian.
Yeah, exiting the chicane there. We see a lot of people having issues with that. Yeah, these things happen. Everybody's trying to find the limits there. Even with Victor Nicolai stuck in P9 behind the Team Anatolia car that's also in contention for the title, slim chances, but those chances do exist. It's still not enough for Mamoulakis. He would need to win the race, claim 30 points, and have Victor no better than P11. Yeah, that's a difficult script for them. I didn't take in consideration the fastest lap. It's currently being held by the leading car by Sebastian Apostol and Andrei Mikla. If they are going for victory, it's too late for them to fight for the title. The second rapid car had an absence early on in the season, last time around. And yeah, they can climb. They can climb into the top 10. They're currently way down in P19. They can score some serious points in this final, but yeah, their championship surge is over before the final.
Yeah, Prepelica keeps on applying pressure on Ionescu with the BMW in front of your screens. But
he made a brilliant move, Robert Prepelica, early on in this race on Leven Tipek. He forced his way into the Dunlop hairpin, I think. I saw it with the corner of my eye. Very decisive. So now, basically, we have a lot of BMWs there, really comfortable in this race.
I think Delphinis will give it a shot on Mamoulakis in T1 from the outside. Mamoulakis manages to block the exit of the turn, and we have Parthenis joining this duo.
And not just him, there's also Petsas. It's a group of 4 together. Interesting to see the old Ferrari. We already call it old, the 488 Ferrari, being able to keep close to Porsche and BMW cars around them, which are clearly favored on this track.
It's a track that is pretty challenging, a lot of technical parts during the lap, and it's nearly, I mean, we say it for many tracks, but here at Nurburgring and with the GT3 cars, that's my experience. I don't know if you will agree or not, you will tell me. It's pretty difficult to overtake here.
It depends. If you have a car that's quite fast in a straight line, it opens a few spots, either on the back straight, close to the chicane. Of course, we would have loved to have the tighter version.
Sorry, Nikolai, alongside Tipek, he managed to make it stick on the outside, so one more position as Delphinis remains stuck behind the Porsche of Mamoulakis.
I was saying that now we're approaching with Mamoulakis and Delphinis the best possibility to overtake, which is the start-finish straight. It has been remodeled, I would have said a few years ago, but it's already more than 20 years ago.
Yep.
since we have the Mercedes Arena. I still remember the old chicane, the 1-2 chicane that's still used in a form. You can see it in from a helicopter shot. You can still see it. It's still used in the Nurburgring 24 hours. You don't do the whole Mercedes Arena. This becomes a paddock area for the classic 3-hour race ahead of the big one. But as for the rest, we're always racing with the Mercedes Arena in F1 or DTM or GT3 races from the SRO environment. As for the rest of the lap, it's largely unchanged. The only thing that changes is the variation of the final chicane. There's a tighter version used in Formula 1 whenever Formula 1 still came here, and a wider version used for GT racing, which is not as good for overtaking, I would say, because the braking really doesn't allow you to be alongside. The other car needs to yield if there's any chance to make a safe pass there. You need the other car to collaborate just a bit.
In the previous lap, in the previous lap, Delphinis did another attempt on the outside of turn 1 to Mamoulakis. Again, it didn't work. Mamoulakis seems to have found the way to block the attempt for an overtake by Delphinis. And what we see here is that I don't see Delphinis sparing Mamoulakis in his mathematical chances of claiming the victory and challenging Rapid for the team championship. I don't see that they are thinking that we're Greeks, okay, let them have the battle. They're going for it.
They know very well that there's a slim chance. I don't think there's gonna be anyone asking questions as of why it didn't favor another Greek team.
Sure.
I think everyone can fight for themselves these title chances. I wouldn't call them academic, but still they are quite slim. So Mamoulakis knows that the BMWs are quite fast. In the meantime, Victor Nicolai made his move on another Porsche car on Robert Prepelica, now up to P7, and then it's gonna be Guneeshu, the next one. It's gonna take him a while to join this 4-car battle from P2 to P5. There are almost 4 seconds between Petsas, the last wagon of this train, and Guneeshu. But Victor Nicolai is making steady progress, just as Sebastian Apostol is doing at the front. He's disappearing into the distance now.
11 seconds. 11 seconds.
Mamoulakis needs to defend. It's obvious that he cannot even do his own regular pace now with pressure from the BMWs behind. I saw him several times altering his lines. But even so, even if Mamoulakis, he's going wide and he's gonna lose the place. He's gonna lose 1, he's gonna lose 2, and the third one is his teammate who protects him. There was no real opening for the Ferrari there, but now it's a 1-2-3 for the BMWs. That's also a significant matter.
Petsas will also try to make a move on Mamoulakis. Nobody spares him. And their sister teams, those two cars, as you can judge by yourself from the liveries that they use. While Nicolai on the brakes of T1, he makes an exceptionally nice overtake on Guneeshu, who did the best he could to hold him behind.
I cannot wait to see Victor Nicolai joining this,
this fight. Me too.
To me, it's absolutely obvious that Victor Nicolai has what it takes to neutralize these 4 seconds currently on display between Petsas and him, but just give him a few laps. Not, I think in 5 laps or 10 laps he's gonna be there.
Grzybowski overtook Dimitris Labru for P12. Another battle that is to see how it will go. It's Ipek seems to be closing on Prepelica, and he in his turn is closing to Giuniesu. But we will stay here with those three actually now Greek crews, because it seems to me that Delphinis is pulling away, and I want to see how is he lapping in relation to Seb Apostol, who is also in BMW in P1 currently, and he holds the fastest lap with 153.8. Last lap of Delphinis was 155.7. But he was
another error from Mamoulakis, and now he's being attacked by the sister car in the last corner. They're really close to one another as they accelerate out of the last corner, still in parallel, Porsche and Ferrari, and usually the Ferrari has better acceleration there compared to the Porsche. Let's see who's gonna be hitting the brakes first, and this looks like a move from Petsas. Very tight, very tight. They both lose time.
Very tight, but nice and clean, as Mamoulakis did change his direction a bit under braking. Petsas was ready, so he gave him the space, and we will go for another round with these two.
I like the freedom of this race, with no real care for the championship fight. Everybody is fighting. Colleagues from their own country, colleagues from their own team, everybody's fighting everybody. This is a joy to watch.
Yeah, because during the first race, it was their very first experience of this Balkan GT Challenge concept. So we saw it, let's say, more often happening. Greeks being easy with other Greeks, Turks being easy with other Turks, and Romanian with their fellows. But as you said, we would expect tonight to see that happening even more vigorously between the Greek drivers, and especially with the crew of the Roadrunner of Mamoulakis and Saradidis. But nobody spares them. Everybody's going for the glory here.
Yes, 100%. Victor Nicolae, in the meantime, has halved the deficit. From 4 seconds, it's now down to 2 seconds. This time, Mamoulakis really tackles the chicane as he should. No mistake. So no opportunity for the car behind. Victor Nicolae clearly faster than the cars ahead of him. Looking at the last lap, Victor Nicolae did a 55.2. He was faster than Petsas, Mamoulakis and Parfenis, but not faster than Delphinis in P2, who has a clear track in front. So does Victor. It's not an issue, but good pace, really good pace from Delphinis now that he's up to P2.
That's what I was about to say. If you expect a crew of 15 racing to give you something boring, I think you will be mistaken, as Delphinis lapped 154 in the previous lap, and now 150, very close to the lap time of Seb Apostol in P1, and the gap from 12 seconds has dropped down to 9 now.
Indeed. There's something going on with the leader. He has lost 2 seconds on this lap, and he continues to lose some time there. I don't know what's going on.
Something. I think something is not going as it should, and I see him waving on the straight as if he's checking the car, maybe. We'll see. Petsas keeps on giving headaches to the sister team in front of him of Stelios Mamoulakis, while Parthenis is pulling away. Delphinis is definitely pulling away. And Victor slowly is closing the gap between the two Roadrunner crews in front of him. You can see the Ferrari and the Porsche battling out lap after lap. Another attempt from Petsas. No, he just wanted to feel the mirrors of Mamoulakis, who is clearly not being able to put on some lap times down, as he has to watch his mirrors from left to right and from right to left, as the Ferrari is all over him. 2 hours 38 minutes. There is a long way to go, a long way ahead of us for the checkered flag, but we're already seeing the intention that each crew has, and with let's say an empty track, it's far more easier to put on some consistent lap times, lap after lap, and that's what brings us all those minor gaps between the drivers. We have now Delphinis 9 seconds behind Seb Apostol. The gap there was nearly 13 seconds a couple of laps ago, but after
again,
that,
not a great lap from Seb Apostol.
Yeah, 156.
That was the previous one, and this one is again quite a poor one. Let's see if there's any reason for serious concern here. Not for now, nothing tragic, but still. So gaps are really small. We have a lot of cars that are in the same second or just 1 second behind the car immediately ahead of them. We have a variety of cars all able to race fairly in here. Track conditions remains optimal, and no chances of rain, nothing like this, as the sun sets down on the Nurburgring racetrack. Already I've been watching this friendly fire between the roadrunners for about 3 or 4 laps already, ever since Mamoulakis made that mistake and defended against Petsas 2 times in turn 1. They've been following each other really closely, and Mamoulakis still keeps Parthenis close. Victor Nicolai will soon be within a second. 1.3 is currently the gap, and now we see another intermediate time. Victor 1.1 now behind the 131 Ferrari. What are they fighting for? I think this freedom that I was talking about in this final round also gives them the opportunity of not really thinking about the conservative strategies. I don't see anyone obviously going now for an economy of fuel. To me, it seems that every car that I'm looking at now is actually pushing, is actually attempting to go as fast as possible. We saw in previous races, it was quite obvious after 4 or 5 laps who was keeping an eye on the fuel consumption. Now nobody, maybe only Levent Ipek, I would say. He was that car was clearly very fast. Ipek did these conservative stints at times, so maybe just him, but as for the rest, I can't really see somebody currently doing so. Victor Nicolai is now less than a second behind Petsas. Petsas gets a wake-up call and once again pushes his teammate from behind, trying to I mean, now's the time for multi 21 stuff like that. Please let me pass. If you can't go faster than this, Stylianos, please let me pass, because I don't want Victor Nicolai's pressure. Now, I don't know if if this is the right time, if anyone listens to what Petsas might demand there. But as of now, I don't see any team order here. I don't see Mamoulakis moving aside.
Yeah.
To let his teammate.
I don't see it happening here. So, in other words, Petsas could say, "Okay, this is between you and Victor Lai. Let me pass, and you two sort it out on your own." But I'm
sure he knows by now. after 4 laps or 5 laps behind the Porsche. He knows if he's fast. Now he goes deep on the brakes. Yeah, he's trying to protect his teammate there. There was nothing he could do. He wasn't attempting an overtake there. He just missed his brake marker because he was way too close to the car ahead. And now he's gonna be under pressure. He needs a perfect chicane because Victor Nicolai is already showing himself. And this is the chance. Yeah, Victor is braking because otherwise the contact would have been imminent. Three-way fight down the start-finish straight, and if there's a time for a team order, this is the time. Let's see whether Mamulakis defends. No, he does not defend. But he can brake very, very late in that Porsche car. Ooh, look at Victor now choosing the inside line. Maybe there's a gap there without touching the Ferrari. Yeah, this is what's gonna happen in T3. Victor's gonna be in a good position there. Can he go alongside in turn 4? What a brilliant overtake.
Brilliant battle between the two of them. Minor contacts, but racing incidents is what I would call them. I don't think there was something sketchy there going on. Brilliant move by Victor, who after the unfortunate event that he had in the second lap, he is still pushing to climb up the standings of this race.
Yep, definitely doing so.
Again, the gap of Delphinis increased to Seb Apostol, but now it's 11, as Seb started again lapping 54s, while Delphinis is still at 55s. But we will have to stick here with Victor, who is all over Mamulakis.
Yep, he's trying to make another move.
Oh, I think Mamulakis here missed his breaking point, and there goes Petsas.
Okay, Victor won't be too happy about this, but
yeah,
what can he do? These things happen in the races.
He missed his breaking point there, clearly. Running wide, there was no room for Victor. There was a contact. And let's say that he was lucky in this unlucky event that he didn't spin again. He managed somehow to make it stick over the gravel, and now he gets his chance. Let's call it karma. He goes up to P5.
So a lot of work to do for Victor still. He's losing time to Delphinis and Parthenis with the Roadrunners here. Fighting against one and the other, but yeah, this is a joy to watch. As I was saying, Guneishu, then Robert Prepelic, Leven Tipek, and Andrei Savescu in the top 10. Alex Boltashu behind Savescu, 1.6 seconds, and then it's Zibovski, Lambru, Tasopoulos, and Soropidis to make up the whole pack. 11 seconds now. I think Seb Apostol is really pacing himself. Doing Delphinis' lap times, no more, no less, whilst Parthenis and the other ones are still losing a lot. Seb, Apostol, and Delphinis are doing 55s. Behind them we see 57s from Parthenis and Petsas. So there's still a big difference. Victor Nicolai, I'm sure he's able to match anything that the top two can do. But he still has to make a few moves here and there.
They are throwing their cars all over this last chicane as they're trying to get as close as they can. That goes for Victor, of course, who will now try to attack the Ferrari of Panagiotis Petsas. They're both weaving on the straight. Petsas just to break the toe, and Victor is following this dance move by Petsas, showing to him that I'm still here. So this will keep us busy for the next laps. the Ferrari of Panayotis Petsas and the BMW of Victor Nicolai, who's doing an exceptionally good job trying to climb up where he was in the beginning of the race, and that's P2 behind Sebastian Apostol. And even if he manages to go through Panayotis Petsas, then he will have to face George Parthenis. I can tell you that he is a driver who is, he might not be the fastest, but he's definitely not the slowest. But what he characterizes him is that he's pretty difficult to be overtaken. He knows how to defend cleanly, of course, that is. And even if he goes through Parthenis, then I cannot wait for his battle with Delphinis. They're lapping similar lap times. So there's still a lot of battles ahead of us.
Let's see what can Victor do about Petsas. In the meantime, Levent Ipek is closing in on Robert Prepelice, less than a second now. Alex Bortaș also moves within a second from the Mercedes of Andrei Savescu.
Small mistake by Petsas on the exit of the last corner. I don't know.
He's going to be very strong around here. Gets the toe. Not as close as he would have liked, but I think he can attempt something on the brakes. Let's see what Petsas' reaction is. No contact between the two cars. On the exit, everything is okay until now. The final push was a bit
unnecessary.
Destabilizing.
Yeah.
Unnecessary, but again, I don't think it's penalty material here.
I agree.
It's rough, but yeah. Victor kept his steering pointing where he would have wanted, so it's fine. He still needs to find the opening. In the meantime, Parthenis is already 3 seconds up on the road, so Victor needs to hurry up a little bit. Again, pressure coming up on the Schumacher S.
Psychological pressure.
Yeah. This time Petsas makes no mistake in that corner. We saw him make a mistake in that old RTL corner, as it was called, back in the Schumacher days.
You remember, yes.
Yeah, to me, those names never changed. This chicane is the Vedoles. Yeah.
Same here.
RTL bit corner. Ford, Dunlop, everything like that. I don't even know if they changed some of those corner names.
Same here. I don't pay attention anymore. I just remember the names that I want. And Tipek is trying to overtake Prepelice. He did a mistake on the last chicane, but we'll have to go back to Nicolai.
Yeah, there's a drag race between Prepelice and Ipek now.
Yeah.
On the start-finish straight with Ipek on the inside, which gives him a good position. But once again, that Porsche car can brake very, very late. It's not enough to keep Ipek behind. Ipek is back now into 8th place.
Yeah, he did a pretty good job blocking the exit, blocking the room actually for the Porsche. Although he did brake later, there was not the necessary room that he wanted to accelerate faster. Ipek didn't give it to him. So one position gained. The gap in front has gone again back to 13 seconds. Delphinis did some attempts. He brought it down to 9, but Seb, after a few laps that were not perfect, he seems to be controlling everything. So it's Parthenis, Petsas and Nikolai at 56 right now. Of course, they're battling out. That's why they're lapping 56. Let's see an attempt on the outside.
Once again, there's a touch.
Yeah. I don't think that Petsas missed that much his brakes, and Mamoulakis did again. So some more time lost there for Mamoulakis. But they touched as they were braking, and that destabilized them, both of them. And now Victor seems frustrated enough. A more aggressive attempt here. He will not yield, I'm sure. He doesn't yield.
There's gonna be another touch here for sure. This is a beautiful fight, again a bit too aggressive. Oh, this contact, this one was unnecessary, really unnecessary. This should annoy Victor. Now he moves from one side to the other and makes his move stick.
Oh.
That one was very, very interesting. He was clearly angry with the touches earlier in the lap.
Yeah, but amazing braking there. I thought he would run wide, but he didn't. So I think that would be it between the two of them. I think Victor clearly has the pace to pull away. Next target for him will be another BMW, the one by George Parthenis and Game Space. Mamoulakis did that mistake on the same corner at the chicane where Victor and Petsas had a contact. Mamoulakis did also a mistake by himself, and that gave the opportunity to Guinescu to have him in front of him. Let's see if he can close the gap down and attack him, as Prepelica does not allow Ipek to pull away.
Not at all. Not at all. He's clearly fighting hard. Let's see whether they can advance together to that group where we saw quite some mistakes from Petsas, Mamoulakis. There were way too many mistakes for 40 minutes of racing. So if Ipek and Robert Prepelica are in a good rhythm, we might see them come closer to that group. So Delphinis has 7 seconds on Parthenis, who is 5.5 ahead of Victor Nicolai.
I think I might be mistaken, this is speculation, but as you said, it seems to me that it's guns free for everybody in the last race. And maybe they are thinking that, okay, as a Roadrunner BB crew, we have mathematical chances of claiming the title in the team championships, but it will be extremely difficult, and it will take a lot of miracles to happen one after the other to claim it. So why not, let's go for a pure race and push all together for the best each crew can do. And that's why I think everybody's pushing the hell out of those cars in those initial laps of 3 hours endurance race.
Yeah, we see now Ipek is less than 4 seconds behind Guinescu, and the Roadrunner intra-team battle can continue now. Mamoulakis and Petsas. They don't have Victor Nicolai for company, but they can still fight between themselves.
And they are.
Surely.
So far, the only battles that have some possibilities of going wheel to wheel are those of Robert Prepelica in P9, who was P8 a few laps ago. Ipek overtook him, but he hasn't managed to pull away. Prepelica is still chasing him, applying pressure. And the other one is the one that we had since the beginning of the race, nearly the beginning of the race, between Mamoulakis and Petsas, or Petsas and Mamoulakis currently. Those two teams, as we call it, their sister teams. The Porsche of Mamoulakis is the Roadrunner Beep Beep, who are currently third in the team's standings of the Balkan GT Challenge, and Petsas with the Ferrari in front of him is for the sister team of Roadrunner Vroom Vroom. But tonight they're acting like two sisters in the same room who want to watch different shows on the TV channel, battling for the control.
We like to see it.
I'm sure.
Yeah, Guneishu is closing in on this fight, and as we're approaching the 45-minute mark, let's see whether we'll have some pit stops somewhere around this 45-minute mark for those who are on 3 stops. Maybe some driver changes, maybe others will remain in their cars. But anyway, I am expecting some action on pit road, and as I'm saying this,
it did happen.
The first car already comes in, and it's that Soul Mercedes car of Andrei Savescu. I'm looking only at BMWs now in the top 4, but this singular Mercedes is now in the pits. Let's see what he'll be doing here. Obviously, this pit stop indicates the fact that they weren't really trying to make any fuel economy. It's still unclear whether that car is free stopping or 2-stopping. We will only see this later in the race, but for now, there's going to be some frantic action there. Victor Nicolai is closing in on George Parthenis. 3.6 now is the gap, but he still has a lot to pick up until he reaches Delphinis.
And Seb in front of Delphinis. I believe
Seb is pacing himself.
Yeah. Because the gap remains the same. He has some 156, but he seems to be controlling everything so far.
Mamoulakis goes towards the pits, so does Parthenis. So these are more important stops, I would say, as they are podium contenders, championship contenders, cars that we really care about when it comes to making these calculations at the end of this final round. So does Robert Prepelica. He's also coming in. So 1 BMW and 2 Porsche cars on pit road here on the Nurburgring at precisely the 45-minute mark, which is right now.
Seb does not enter the pit lane. He will remain in P1. Delphinis will also stay out in P2, while Victor has now climbed in P3 as Parthenis and Delphinis both pitted with 2 hours 14 minutes. There's still a long way to go. Mamoulakis is also pitted, as you can see on the tower. That P indication next to the lap times means that those drivers are currently in the pit lane. And we will see if there will also be a driver swap.
Yeah, we have Sarantidis now in Roadrunner BB Porsche. So there was a change here. It's quite clear now. It's going to be Mamoulakis, Sarantidis, and again Mamoulakis and Sarantidis to the finish.
Maybe someone is getting ready for a pit stop. 154.8 by Seb Apostol in this last lap, as Delphinis is now pitting from P2. And Victor as well.
Nicolai as well.
Yep. That's a battle that we would expect to see. Let's see where Parthenis will be after the pit stop. Or is it Prokos who took over? It's Prokos who took over the car for game space. He was in front of Victor Nicolai by 3 seconds, if I remember.
He should slot between Prokos and Sarantidis, somewhere in those 9.7 seconds gap.
Sliding through the corner for Prokos, who's trying to get the feeling of the car. Delphinis is starting. And Victor in his turn as well. Prokos is in the straight. I think Victor will be ahead of him. Yep.
Okay, that's surprising. Yeah, this pit stop of Victor Nicolai. I mean, the 555 car had a
Seb is on the gravel. I don't know what happened there, but he did 154. I was assuming that maybe he was pushing to increase the gap after the pit stop, and now he's pitting. Panagiotis Petsas hasn't pitted, correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
The Ferrari hasn't pitted, neither did Gunesh and Ipek. Told you, Ipek to me is a candidate for going long. Don't know about the rest. Maybe they will come in anytime soon.
No, Team Anatolia is pitting. Yes, I know why you said that, because we're used by Team Anatolia to see extreme strategies.
Yeah.
Going long. So Gunesh is now leading the race. Mistriano took over the car for Monday Racers in P12. Ipek behind Seb Apostol, who is still there. He accelerates away.
And he gets a penalty for speeding in pit lane.
Ah, excellent, excellent. That's excellent news. They're doing their best to give us a thriller that we did not expect to see in the last race with Omega outside of the grid. So that's 30 seconds. And Panagiotakopoulos took over the car from Delphinis for a missed Apex Sim. And the gap still remains 10 seconds. Let's see. Yep, Tasopoulos in the pits as well, and Spiropoulos at the pit lane. Gunescu is leading, but he still hasn't pitted. Victor 4.4 seconds behind Panagiotakopoulos.
So it's Gunesh 1, Seb Apostol P2, but he's gonna serve that penalty. And then it's the new fight for P1 between Panagiotakopoulos and Victor Nicolai. 4.4 seconds is the difference now.
And we have finally Stathis with us. Stathis, welcome. Good evening.
Hello, good evening. Alex and Lefteris, good evening, everyone. How is it going?
First, tell us how did the free practice of F1 did go, just to give some news to the motorsport lovers here who are watching.
Excellent for Max Verstappen and Red Bull Racing. Somewhat good for Ferrari, really bad for Mercedes. Very good for Alpine. Not so good for Aston Martin. McLaren were second to last, but they were testing race pace, not doing qualifying simulations. And I was trying to keep up with the race here at the Nurburgring. And I see some things that I am a bit surprised, like the number 23 that has 30 seconds stop and go penalty. I don't know when was this awarded to the crew of 23, but I do not see the Omega Racing Porsche in the entry list. What happened?
Haris Mitropoulos couldn't find a teammate to participate, unfortunately for us and for him and for the Omega crew in this last race, so there is no chance for them to claim the team championship. The next contenders who were close enough was the crew of Roadrunner Bibip of Mamoulakis and Saradidis. Mamoulakis didn't do as expected in the first stint. Actually, he was a lot of under pressure by Delphinis and by the sister team of Pechas. So Seb was leading the race. He took pole position. He was pretty undisturbed and in full control of the race. But Victor was second. But something happened, we missed it, and he dropped down to P8 if I remember correctly. And they are both now trying to gain places. So it's a total mix-up in my head, at least. Alex is much more better of sorting things out in regard to mathematical calculation, pit stop strategies and everything, but currently the grid is a mess. It's only 15 crews, but the race is far from being boring.
Yeah, I see that we have 2 hours left. The second place car has a penalty. I don't know if that's a mistake or not.
Nope,
you have
no mistake.
No. Okay. So this will change up things a lot. And the thing I'm surprised is the gap from P1 to P2. It's 30 seconds.
They haven't pitted.
Unusual.
Yeah, it's not unusual because everybody has pitted except Guneshu, who is going long in this first stint. He's the one currently leading, but he wasn't the car in first place. He was somewhere around P7 before everybody else had pitted. And now Seb Apostol has to come in. He attempted the fastest lap on fresh rubber. He failed to correct it. He still holds it, but he tried to do even better as temperatures went down. But now he will relinquish that second place. He will come in for this stop and go penalty. It's an automated penalty for speeding in pit lane. His pit limiter had a malfunction, the button there, and he's now heading for the pit lane, hopefully with the right speed this time around, because otherwise he will get another penalty just like the first one. And he's now going slowly through the pit lane. Other cars will overtake him. I think he's going to be outside of the top 5, that's for sure. I'm seeing a new face in the 131, the Ferrari of the Roadrunner team. So let's give him a welcome. It's Vuduris, and I'm sure you know more about him than I do. So let's present him to the whole public.
Not much actually, because he's a newcomer to our league as well. He today is replacing a teammate of Pechas, Mr. Kokinis. Was not able to join the race, so he's making his debut here at the Balkan GT Challenge, and he's making also his debut in the last couple of races of F1 action. Pretty decent driver. Let's see how he will perform here against drivers from 3 different nations and not amongst friends. Not their enemies, of course, but they do not know each other. Here it's different in the domestic league, where pretty much everybody knows everyone.
Yeah, same in every domestic league, I would say.
He's currently under pressure from Ciufeanu, who took over the car from Prepelica.
Yep, nice freeway fight there. Ipek, Voudouris and Tufeanu. Three guys from the three representing countries in this championship.
How many points does the fastest lap award?
2 points.
2 points. Okay, so I'm trying to do some mathematics.
Oh, good luck.
Right now. Yes. So, the Rapid team, the number 19.
Wait, Stathis, I will have to interrupt you because Nikolai in P3 is applying pressure on Panagiotakopoulos. So we will have to stick here, yeah.
For the actual win, I would say this fight is a fight for net P1 because Gunesh is on the alternate strategy, but we'll see about it.
Yeah, Stathis, keep on doing the math.
Yes. From what I see, the number 19 crew, they need 13 points, 13 points to secure the championship. So 8th place gives 13 points, but 10th place plus the fastest lap also awards 13 points. So they have to be extra careful here, the number 19 crew, because they have everything to lose and everything to win. In the fight with the number 9, 8, 7, will they go on the inside? No, they go from the outside. Nikolai attacks Panagiotakopoulos but cannot get through. This time round, he power slides out at the exit of turn 8, I believe it's the hairpin. He's putting a lot of pressure on Panagiotakopoulos. Will he go on the inside here? Yes, he does. Does he make it?
Yep, he did. I don't know, Stathis, I think we lost your sound and we can't still hear you. So
yeah, Victor has moved ahead. That was a lovely move, and now he's the net leader of this race. Let's see what Guneshu is doing up front. He's doing 56s, which is the lap time that you would need to run conservatively. He needs to stay here for another 20 minutes or so, a little bit more. That's all he needs right now, and he'll be doing a pit stop less than the other cars. But now Victor Nicolai will get ever closer to him because he's allowed to push. His strategy gives him this benefit, whilst Guneshu doesn't seem to be in a position to push if he wants to make a long stint up to 80 plus minutes.
Tufeanu keeps on chasing Voudouris in his debut at the BGTC, while Mistrianu is chasing his fellow Romanian Boltasu. That's the closest battles we have now. While, where is he? Seb is currently P11. He is the man who was on pole position. He is the man who was leading the race up until the pit stop, where he did a mistake in the during his pit entry. He was speeding a bit, and that gave him an automated penalty of 30 seconds. That brought him down to 11, while Tufeanu is getting even closer, and Mistrianu to Boltasu. I'm trying to cover both battles, so if there is an overtake, we can see it, but I think we will stay. Oh no, I have to go to Tufeanu. Yes, I think Voudouris made a mistake, made it easy to Tufeanu, and same goes for Boltasu. He also made a mistake. That gives the opportunity of Mistrianu to go landside. Oh, they touched. There was a contact there that made Mistrianu spin and made it easier for Apostol to get rid of one car. Now he will only have to face Boltasu. He's flashing his headlights to Boltasu.
Very weird incident. The Mercedes from the outside didn't actually wait for the McLaren to take the apex. I don't know how to judge it. from the outside.
Seb also made a mistake at the last chicane. And flashing lights again to Boltasu, informing him that I'm here. Get out of the way. Let's see if Boltasu will concur. No. But Seb is Seb. Oh, that was totally unnecessary there.
Okay, I don't understand this from the McLaren. I do not understand this from the McLaren. It was clear that the BMW was in front of him and he just crashed out of him. It just wrecked the BMW. This is not acceptable, and I don't understand why the McLaren driver did this.
Let's see what the Greek crews will do now, because we have Sarantidis now all over Petros Prokos in P5 and P4. This battle is between GameSpace and Roadrunner Beep Beep. He tried there Sarantidis, but there was not enough room. While further back Seb is also taking it on Boltasu once more. This time he knows. He won't go on the outside, he won't risk it again.
This is clearly faster and slower than Panagiotopoulos, as Seb Apostol does the fastest lap of the race.
And he does the overtake on Boltasu as well.
Without any contact this time, almost lost it during acceleration. Takes off the last corner.
Yeah, he's pushing as much as he can, because it's pretty frustrating losing the first place from a mistake in the pit entry. He was the fastest man of the race, and I believe he will soon be again.
But this is pushing Prokos. He wants to get by as fast as possible. Let's see, through the Simracers.
Yeah, because this is the crew that you will have to do the math as well. The crew of Roadrunner Beep Beep, they were third in the standings, in the team standings, before the start of this race. And with 2 hours to go, they're chasing the crew of Football Club Rapid 1923.
Yes, they need at least 20 points. Third place awards 20 points. Let's see. Fourth place awards 18 with the fastest lap. It's 20. It's going to be very difficult because the number 19 crew is 3 places ahead of them, and only need 13 points tonight to secure mathematically the championship. It's such a shame that Omega Esports couldn't make the race. I find it very odd that they couldn't find a driver to help the team achieve its target, or at least fight for the way the gap was only 6 points. Sarantidis cannot find a way to overtake Prokos. Prokos won't just let the Porsche get through. He's fighting for positions. He knows that he can also fight for the podium place. Yes, they don't have the best result for the GameSpace team is 6th place in the first and second round, so they have honestly nothing to lose, and the podium would be a great result for them to end this season 0 of Balkan GT Challenge. Ooh, Prokos is moving the car. He tries to set it up for the corners without giving any opportunity or opening the door to Sarantidis for an attack. Sarantidis has the first part of the Simracers. He had a little bit of understeer. Of course, it's a very difficult car to drive. We all know that. It's not as easy as the BMW, but it's very enjoyable once you master it. Now Sarandidis has the run on Prokos, but he's not close enough to attack through the chicane. I don't know, Lefteris, this chicane is not the one that they were using back in the days in Formula 1. It's the quick chicane integration. Would you like? Do you prefer this one, the quick chicane, or the other one with heavy brakes and a big opportunity for an overtake?
We did. I mean, how would you know? You're so young. You don't know. you only read about it. I'm joking. We did have this conversation with Alex earlier on. Oh, Sarandidis. Very, very close, but they avoid the contact there. So we did have this conversation with Alex earlier on during the race, where Alex was naming all the corners with their old names, so you can understand what we both prefer. Sarandidis seems to be more eager than ever to overtake Prokos. I mean, he did a lot of patience behind him, and I think that he's running out of patience. He's going even more aggressively on him, and the way he approaches brakes and corners, trying to find the space. But we said Nurburgring is a pretty tough track to find the room. If the driver in front of you knows where to place his car, it's not. It's far from easy to overtake.
Again, Sarandidis had understeer through the first part of the Schumacher race, and he went a little bit wide. Now Prokos goes a little bit wide. Both of their lap times have been deleted for this one, and they are still lapping a little bit slower than Panagiotopoulos, 3-4 tenths per lap, and also, but Nicola in the 19, he's way faster than everyone else. Now they are 20 seconds behind the second place man. The 777 Roadrunner Esports bip car is now he is losing more than a second every lap to the car that is fighting for the championship. Now let's see if I think if we have a tie in terms of championship points, let's say that the 777 wins the race and we have a tie in the points. I believe that the Roadrunner car, the bip car, will take the championship because it has 2 second place finishes, and the number 19 has only 1 second place finish. So both of them will have 1 win each. So I believe in terms of in a tie, the Porsche will take the championship from the BMW, but this is there was a touch there. There was a touch there. Sarandidis went very, very late on the brakes at turn. What turn is that? 7, the 4th curve, and now into turn 8. He showed Prokos how much he wants to overtake him. Yep. That's the reality. Now let's see through the Schumacher race. If he has a good exit, he can push for the overtake at turn 11. No, he's not. He's not so close to the BMW. There's just something that he's missing. The BMW has great stability through fast corners. Sarandidis is closing in the brakes and on corner entry, but he cannot stay very close to the BMW. Now let's see. They're approaching turns 14 and 15. Can Sarandidis have a good exit compared to Prokos? Did you see that? He's trying to have great exit, be aggressive on the entry and fast on the exit, but he just can't. He just cannot find the speed to maintain the speed in the middle of the corner to be close to the BMW to attempt an overtake. I think what he has to do is be patient and attack maybe at turn 8. Set the car the way that the Porsche can go through turns 5, 6 and 7 and try and overtake, try on the inside or the outside at turn 8. Now what Sarandidis is doing is getting frustrated, getting angry because he cannot overtake the 555 of Prokos, and he he will only make mistakes. Now again, this lap his lap has been deleted because of he went off the track. Now let's see. You see how close he's getting through turns 5, 6, and 7. No, he's very far behind. But let's see. He's on the slipstream of the 555. Can he do something on the inside, Saradidis? No, he's very far behind. He will try again. Oh, Prokos went a little bit deep, but he will have good acceleration. Schumacher is now for both of them. It's an exciting battle. A battle that does not necessarily need to have overtakes to be a good battle, nor a race. It's great to see top drivers fighting for positions, and a great defending sometimes is better than an attack. I am quite impressed, by the way, with the 83 still leading by 26 seconds from Nikolai Guinness, who does an excellent job in the 83 BMW. He's approaching his pit window. The pit window for the BMW must have opened. Saradidis is very close. Again, the Porsche makes ground at the backside on corner entry. Now let's see, he's very close to Prokos. Saradidis on the slipstream, but he cannot get very close. He must be very late on the brakes. No, he chooses not to attack at turn 1. The Castro curve now through the Mercedes arena.
There's also a great battle going on between Boltasso and Gzybowski. Of course, we will stay with Sarandidis and Prokos, but I am switching the cameras so that we can get a glimpse of both of them.
Sarad is very late in the entry of 6. The exit of 7 still not close enough. The BMW resists. Sarandidis is closer than last lap. Prokos has changed his approach through turn 8. He's now going very deep in the middle of the corner to have great acceleration. It's very smart from the BMW driver, and that's even more frustrating for the Porsche driver. The driver behind them, Ipek, with the 95 is closing in 5.4 or 5/10 a lap. Very exciting battle going on, and maybe this will become a trio from a duet. Sarandidis is very close. He must be very careful what he's gonna do. In the Vettel chicane, how much he will close in the last corner. Oh. Sarandidis is very close, but always the BMW will be one step ahead during acceleration.
Yeah, it's really obvious what the strong points are for each car. Spiropoulos, a yellow flag, and he's out of the server.
Sorry, who? I missed it?
It was Spiropoulos in last place.
Oh.
Ooh, and another one.
Yes.
There's a touch, and this is gonna be a sanction for sure. Losing patience there, Sarandidis, happened in earlier fights that took longer than the following car would have expected, and it happened this time around as well.
Yeah, I no intention to play it smart, but I said it myself a couple of laps, even more ago, that I was seeing Sarandidis. I mean, it was obvious to everyone that he was getting more aggressive, more impatient, and when you lose your patience and your calm, those things happen. On the other hand, Gzybowski hasn't lost his calm and his patience. He's been nearly the same laps as Sarandidis has been behind Prokos. Gzybowski has been behind Boltasso, but so far they keep it clean. And Unesio is finally coming in the pit lane. That will
not okay. Actually, he tried to extend the stint, and he didn't do it enough.
Yep.
So this this is not okay. I think he will stay in the car for a splash and dash now, because there's more than 100 minutes left in this race. So this strategy, he tried to save as much fuel as he could, but he ultimately failed by 2 laps to do the planned strategy.
Yeah, we totally forgot about him as we were covering the battle of Sarandidis and Prokos. You are absolutely right.
I'm back again. I'm getting some weird disconnections.
Yeah, he stays in the car. I think it was a very short pit stop, a splash here.
He needs to do how many more laps?
At least 3 more laps if he remained on the same set of tires, and then pass on the car for 2 stints of no more than 100 minutes, both of them. But we still have 103 minutes out of this race. So this has failed. In the meantime, Spiropoulos has rejoined the server. He was some laps down and he's now further 3 laps down. Total of 5 laps down now.
Ksibovski still behind Boltasu. Very close, those two. And they have some really nice battle between them going on for 5 laps, I think, now.
For the fight with Sarandidis and Prokos, I think Sarandidis ran out of patience there.
Yeah, clearly.
Yeah, it's very frustrated. And we have a 15-second time penalty for the 777. I think that's a bit lenient, to be honest with you.
I mean, the damage wasn't big.
Something with Seb again on the grass. It's not going well. And Sarantidis is stopping at the start-stop finish straight and back to the pitch. I don't know what went on there.
Maybe he's annoyed with the penalty and...
Yeah, that's the fair end out of the server, yes. The so-called rage quit.
I don't know why. I mean, if he's annoyed with somebody, maybe only the difference to Prokos. I don't think he's annoyed with the stewards. It was obvious what the issue was, and now Seb Apostol is in the pits.
I think I will agree with you. I don't think it was the penalty that annoyed him. I think it was the reluctance of Prokos giving way to a pit crew that had mathematical chances, at least, to claim the championship. Maybe. All of those, of course, are speculations. Do not misunderstand us. We're just trying to give an explanation.
I don't know.
So, let's make a calculation now.
They're fighting for the championship, so they should have passed. They have the fastest car, and they shouldn't be fighting with the 555. If you're fighting for the championship, and you know you have the fastest crew,
that's
the fastest car. You should be in the podium places, not fighting for P5 or P6 or whatever. So, yeah, I don't like that.
Let Michael pass for the championship.
Exactly, yeah. That's between them. I see your point of view, but to be honest, from the beginning of the race, we didn't see any. What is the word that I'm looking for?
Collaboration.
Exactly, any collaboration towards the Roadrunner BB group. I mean, they have had fights with missed apex of Delphinis. They had even fast fights. They had fights with the sister team of Roadrunner Vroom Vroom. So it was pretty clear from the beginning that nobody would collaborate with the Roadrunner BB, and maybe with big bold letters, maybe that what frustrated them. I don't know.
So Leven Tipek is now in the pits. 1 hour 49, so 99 minutes left in this race. It's very important. They made the right call. Leven Tipek managed to do 1 hour and 20 minutes on the racetrack. That fuel saving stint, he did it right. From now on, they can push until the end. It's gonna be at the limit of 100 minutes. It depends when they will cross the line. It's gonna be essential. But I think with another pit stop to go, they are safe. Team Anatolia is the only car that can still rival Rapid Esports for the championship. We had 5 cars gunning for the championship as we were heading for this round. 2 of them didn't attend this race, Omega and the Mistypex Honda team. A third one has recently disconnected, the Roadrunners team, and now it's all between Rapid Esports and the slim chances of Volkan Ajicek in Team Anatolia Ferrari, one of the prettiest cars on the grid in my opinion. And certainly, if you don't call it pretty, at least it's really visible.
Yeah.
It depends. It's a matter of taste. I like it, others may not like it. It's irrelevant, but either way, I think the first quality of a design should be to get you seen, to get you visible in a pack of cars, and Team Anatolia did just that. They have a design that's very easy to spot.
Even with the sun going down, you can see the glare surrounding the car with the colors that they chose.
I don't know about you guys, but I have been very impressed by Team Anatolia in this season 0. I think they deserved a podium place in one of the 3 races that we have done already. The best finish is P4 in the last race. They always try something different, and I think if they could, I don't know, if they treated the race somewhat different, or maybe have done a better qualifying, maybe they would have achieved this precious podium finish. I think they have underachieved so far, but they are by far the best Turkish crew, along with sensible racing in this championship, and can easily be title contenders next year if they really put the work and the dedication, the commitment in this series. I think there are more things to come from the 95 crew next season, and let's see if they can get a podium place today to end the championship in a very positive way.
I think there's a possibility of getting that podium still. I don't know. I think it's going to be between the 2 Turkish teams, either Güneşu or Ajicek. It depends, these varying strategies. I don't know which is which now, which will be the successful one. But to me, Team Anatolia are in a strong position right now. When we will see all the rest of the cars really soon by mid-race doing their second pit stop, we're going to be closer to the truth between Anatolia and the cars around them. Now they're down to P11, but everybody else has to pit, and only after that there will be 1 pit stop remaining for all the crews. For now, most cars will be pitting another 2 times, whilst Team Anatolia only has to pit once.
Indeed, the championship fight, I'm not sure it will go down to the wire. Number 19 has a lot of things to do in a negative way to land the championship, but they have won round 1 of the championship. They are close.
I will make another calculation now.
Oh.
Yeah, it's clear. As long as Team Anatolia aren't in a very solid position and Rapid Esports are in a very weak position, we can't talk about the title. But with Omega absent and Roadrunners quitting this race, it's all about whether Team Anatolia can move up to 2nd place in the overall standings.
Oh, Ajicek is off! Ajicek is off! He spins the car before the last corner. Oh my goodness me, one of the title contenders is off the track. He lost 1 place. I think Davidis overtook him, or yes, Davidis overtook him. Ajicek ran very wide at the chicane. He had a very wobbly time through the curbs, and with the car full of fuel,
and Seb is in the pit lane as well. I don't know what is going on anymore.
Seb.
Sebastian Apostol.
Yeah, he's in the pits, going from bad to worse for Rapid. The two crews, different fortunes. One of them leading the standings and going for the title. The other one having all sorts of issues ever since the first race with that incident between Andrei Mikla and the Omega Esports team. And not just that, they had a string of misfortunes and issues. And of course, the final is no different. What starts bad can only finish even worse. And unfortunately, the number 23 car is in the pits, and I assume that that's it for them. They cannot hope for anything more.
Yep.
So for Volkan Ajicek, despite that issue, the strategy now is simple. He needs to finish at least in 4th place to be vice champion in this Balkan series.
Oh.
Yeah.
18 points is the minimum required, or P5 plus the fastest lap, but I don't see that happening. I think he cannot match BMW or a Porsche in terms of pace. So just by the final placement, he needs to finish at least in P4 for Team Anatolia to overtake the total that Omega Esports currently has.
Yeah, but let's face it, God, all three of us said excellent words for Ajicek and Team Anatolia, for their cars, for the livery they chose, that they achieved that they could have been better, so it was bound to happen what happened.
Yeah, of course. Let's let's leave the compliments aside, because we can only bring misfortune to the teams. He's now attacking Davidis. In the meantime, we have lost Seb Apostol for good. He's off the server, and yeah, that's it for the number 23 BMW. We still have 4 BMWs, and all 4 are in the leading positions of this race. But will we see them there come the end of the race? We'll see about that. One thing is strange to me. Guneeshu decided to proceed in this race, not just for two laps of fuel. I think he took another set of tires, but he's approaching the end of his driving time. He's been in the car since the beginning, so he still has no more than 11 minutes until he needs to pass the car to his teammate, to Aydin. But that's a bad strategy for them. And Ajicek needs a lot of bad strategies for the others to happen if he is to make up those places. He's making up right now, as he has overtaken Davidis before the back straight. So now the closest contender to a BMW is Cătălin Tufeanu in P5, right behind Procos, and he's moving within a second from Procos, which means another interesting fight.
I'm sure Procos must have some sort of damage as the leader pits. The leader in the pits.
Which means it's done for today for Victor Nicolae. It's precisely the midpoint of the race, so he's now gonna pass the car to Dragos Simeon, who is clearly up for 90 minutes. Clearly no fuel saving there. Another pit stop to come. 2 45-minute stints for the Dragos, the classical tactic for this race, as Procos is also heading for the pits. Tufeanu remains on track, so he's now up to 4th.
Grybowski still behind Boltasu. He can't find a way to get by. As Mistreanu is also fighting with his guys. Their lap times are even. Stevens, let's see, Nikolai is exiting the pits. Must be very careful not to...
It's Dragos. Dragos Simeon now.
Dragos Simeon, okay. You must be very careful with the pit limiter, as everyone should be.
Grzybowski is trying something different to get rid of Boltasu. No, he's just following him in the pit lane. Let's see if he can overtake during this pit stop, or they will pick it up from where they left it. Panagiotopoulos is now leading the race, but he will have to stop.
since I'm getting some disconnections, I don't know the stint lengths of each driver. I have to connect the live timing up.
Are you getting disconnections from the server?
Yes.
Oh, okay, well, that's weird.
Thankfully, it only happens to me.
Yep. Only happens to you. So 13 cars remaining, but Spiropoulos is a lot of laps down now. So 12 cars still actually battling for positions, with Dragos Simeon now down to P5, and it's a DSQ for Boltasu. What happened there?
Oh, that spoiled the battle there.
What?
I don't know what happened there. Maybe he reversed into pit lane or did something. I don't know. He entered the pit lane at a very, very high speed, more than 100 kilometers per hour. I don't know. There's some big mistake that leads to a DSQ.
I'm watching the replay. He just leaves his pit box, and he's very close to the exit line. I don't know. Maybe he didn't apply the pit limiter. I didn't see anything.
That's a shame.
It's very weird. Very weird.
They were having a very nice battle with Grzybowski, and we were wondering what will happen with the two of them after they pitted, but only one of them made it out of the pits. That's Christian Grzybowski, who is currently racing at P11, as both Tufeanu and Vouduris visit their pit lane, giving P4 to Mistrianu. I haven't even attempted to do the math regarding the nation standings, but I don't know. I don't think that will change.
No, it's a big difference there between. It would have taken a disaster for Greece to lose P1. And when I first saw how many crews came out of every country, and saw that the Greek contingent was clearly the most serious when it came to attendance, it was clear that despite all the drama, we still have enough Greek crews. I don't know, probably Greece will also win this round as well. They had the best total in every round. They have won every round, which is impressive. Sometimes Romania and Turkey were close, other times not so.
Yeah.
But either way, the nation's standings is clearly favoring Greece. When it comes to manufacturers, it was all between BMW and Porsche, but in the Porsche camp, the only strong team was Omega until now, and sometimes the Roadrunner Beep Beep team. There were more BMWs able to shine at the front, so those were the preferred cars in this championship. Will we have a complete BMW podium tonight? This is what I'm wondering now, with 4 BMWs and Cătălin Tufeanu as the main challenger. We'll see whether this will happen or not. I'm now expecting Guneeshu to head for the pit lane in the next 4 or 5 minutes, I would say, because he's approaching the end of his driving time. As for Dragos Simeon, he has moved up to 3rd after everyone else has pitted around him. But I can confirm that Cătălin Tufeanu has moved ahead of one of the BMWs. He was chasing Parthenis.
And he is in front of him now.
Yeah, they both made their pit stops, and now Tufeanu is clearly ahead of Parthenis. He was battling Procos. They changed in the 555. But now there are no more sole BMWs there up front, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a Porsche in between them.
Tasopoulos is up now into P4, but if I'm not mistaken, he hasn't done his pit stop yet. As you said, we're expecting the 83 in the pit soon. Panagiotopoulos still out there in 1st place right now. The gap between Guneeshu and Simeon it was some laps earlier to 36 seconds, now it's 35 seconds. It's interesting to see what the 83 will do, especially in the second half of the race. Now, Tufeanu is more than 40 seconds behind Simeon. I don't know if they hope they can catch them. I am not entirely sure, but let's see what the 555 BMW will do in terms of maybe the last place in the podium with the 93 of Tufeanu.
I think we should keep an eye on Ajicek as well.
Oh yes,
he has very good pace now. I think he's catching up to Parthenis and Tufeanu. Everybody still has one pit stop in this area of the peloton, but Ajicek is clearly faster than Parthenis and Tufeanu. Let me check. Ajicek of 55.2 last time around. Yeah, he was faster than the other two. So I'm not so sure. Ajicek can move past them as Panayotakopoulos is now pitting. And Guneșu, not sure about the strategy of that 83 car, which means that Team Anatolia can claim that 4th place that they need so much in order to become vice champions. I wouldn't have counted
for something
on Team Anatolia to finish there, as we are looking now to the standings. They were in P4. And who would have thought that Omega wouldn't be in this race, and the Roadrunners, who were so calm and collected in the previous races, would now rage quit their way out of this final race after a battle with the car that's not even a rival for the title. It's really surprising to me. I remember the interviews that we did at the end of the first round when they scored a double podium, and everything seemed so it was like a carnival in their team. Everybody was really content. They were overachieving based on the context of that race, and they were clearly telling us, you can always rewind to those interviews, about their intention of being there to pick up the pieces whenever the ones that are ahead of them might leave something on the table. But this time they decided not to do so, as we are now seeing Tassopoulos in the pits. He's moving, yeah, of course he's now behind Ajicek, so that position was clearly easy to win. Ajicek moves in, edging ever closer to Parthenis. He gained another half a second on him, gained almost nothing compared to Cătălin Tufeanu, unfortunately. And Guneșu is now pitting. Yeah, he had to do so. It was his last attempt, and from now on it's gonna be 80 minutes for his teammate, which means that this might be his last stop if his teammate manages to do what he couldn't.
Yeah,
or
sensible. Yeah.
If they know that that's impossible, they'll just split it into two fast stints of 40 minutes each. We'll see.
Nice pace by this team, but they're Sensible Racing, the crew of Sensible Racing, haven't been very sensible with their pit strategies throughout the Balkan GT Challenge.
Guneșu in the pits.
Yep.
From first place, I think they will refuel. Can they come out in front of Tufeanu? I believe so. They will be in front, unless something weird happens. Yes, for Ajicek, he lost more than 10 seconds with his spin. He should have been in front of Tufeanu in 4th place. Now he's chasing that 4th place. He's 8 seconds behind Tufeanu. Arda Aydin is now in the 83 BMW with ease in 3rd place now, and a gap of 15 seconds, maybe less, from Tufeanu, who is in 4th.
Yes, and now, by my calculations, everyone is expected to do one final pit stop in this race, except if Ardaidin is attempting to go long. But I think that they know that it's they've fallen short by 2 laps with the first driver, so maybe they will not attempt. So I don't think they need it. They are in P3 now.
Yeah.
Everybody else needs to pit just once. They don't need to force the issue. There's not much to gain, but there's a lot to lose, I would say. So now Ajicek, as you were saying, Stathis, has to fight a lot against against Tufano and Parthenis. He needs to overtake them both if he's to become vice champion. That's his clear goal for the rest of this race. 4 seconds between Tufano and Parthenis, another 3.5 between Parthenis and Ajicek, so 7.5 seconds. With an optimal strategy for the Ferrari, 2 stints of 50 minutes each, full push, new tires, everything will go well for them. But do they have the speed to finish this race in P4? It's now up to Ajicek to bring it home, to get those required points.
Very precious points, very precious. We have to repeat that the gap to P2 in the championship is 17 points. P4 gives 18 points. That will do. Gap. He was slower in the last lap than both Tufeanu and Parthenis. Ajicek. He pitted a little bit earlier, if memory serves me correct.
Yep.
The gap, Aydin to Tufeanu, 13 seconds. Let's see what Aydin can do with a fresh set of tires. The number 83, he's 13 seconds behind Delphinis. Delphinis is only 20 seconds behind Drago Simeon. Maybe traffic will play a part in this. Drago Simeon, I don't know if he had enough. This lap, his lap time has been deleted, maybe for track limits. Gap just under 20 seconds. Nothing is over in this championship. It has been proven quite many times, as well as in the other championships of F1 action. So yeah, less than 80 minutes to go. There's still one more pit stop for everyone. Many things can happen. A wrong press of the pit limiter will change things dramatically. But for now, we have 3 BMWs in the first 3 places.
Yeah, let's see what the pace is for Aydin. This is our main concern now. I'm looking at his first timed lap, 56.7. That's not great. That's not great. But was it an exception? His first flyer. Let's not judge him too harsh. Let's see what he's able to do once he settles into a rhythm. Of course, now Tufano took 1.5 seconds out of him in this first flyer, but yeah, this trend can be easily reversed if Aydin just you know how it is in the movies, just presses the accelerator harder. If he finds another gear that makes you go slower in a GT3, because we have a 7th gear that we will never use for consumption, but and other tricks that you only see in Driven, which is by far the best movie ever created.
Best result for the 93 crew has been 13th place at Kyalami last time
Just
out.
by finishing this race, they will improve on that.
Yes, indeed, and they can gain quite a few places.
Yeah,
maybe
whoever is in here is up for big moves indeed, based on the absences and the counter performances of some crews in this actual race. Yeah, there are others that can gain a lot.
we don't have the number 2 and 3. They were third in the last race.
Nope.
The 83 can also gain places and climb up.
How many, if you can make the calculations?
They are now in P3. If they take the 20 points for P3, they do overtake even the Beep Beep, the Roadrunner. But the Team Anatolia is in 6th place. 6th place awards 5 points. They will not overtake them. The gap between them is 9 points. Team Anatolia has 47 and Sensible Racing has 38. So there is a battle between the two Turkish teams for third place in the championship right now. Because as things stand, Omega Esports will still finish in second place in the championship with only 2 participations and 2 wins.
Indeed. But let's not forget that Aichicek once again took a second out of Parthenis. Cătălin Tufeanu is now in that car, but Robert Prepelic also needs to do a stint. I don't really remember his early pace there, but that could be significant as well. The Turkish teams are heading for P3 and P4 in the overall standings. But if Aichicek finds another 2 places, it's going to be P2 and P4 in the standings for these crews. They will topple Omega by gaining another 2 positions. It's not really clear now that they have the pace to do so, but we will see. It's all to play for in this battle.
It would only be fair if we had 3 nations in the first 3 places of the championship, but
yes,
they have to do it on merit.
I think either way we're gonna have them. It's just whether we have Greece in P2 and Turkey in P3 or the other way around. I think it's clear that we're gonna have the three nations in the top 3 positions. That's a given already. It's just about whether Anatolia is third or second in the overall standings.
I don't understand the Drago Simeon pace. The gap is now down to 18.3 seconds.
It's not down. He's in the 24. He's in the 54.
Yeah, I have been watching him. He has been a bit inconsistent. Let's say there was a couple of mistakes that threw him on the gravel, and that's why you see the gap time moving from 20 to 16 and now back to 18 seconds from Delphinis. Delphinis also did 154, but only once, while Dragos has been more consistent with the 54s, but a couple of mistakes is what explains the difference going up and down. Nothing serious.
Looking at Aydin's pace, on the other hand, nothing very impressive. 55.8 with the fresh set of tires early on. He cannot match Delphinis, only occasionally, but Delphinis, as you said, he did 54s. Whilst Aydin cannot go into the mid 55s until now. So Cătălin Tufeanu on way more used tires is gaining. He gained 7/10 in the last lap, and he's now below 10 seconds. So that position may be on the cards. The third step of the podium is still very much unclear to me. Whether Aydin is sure about it. I'd say there's enough of this race for Tufeanu, Parthenis or Aichicek to reach out to Aydin if he doesn't increase his pace. Another lap in the same area, 55.9 this time around from Aydin. And we're now waiting for Cătălin Tufeanu, who does a 55.1. He takes another 8/10 out of him, and it's now 8.7 seconds adrift, which means in about 10 laps, I would say, he's gonna be there. 10 laps is no more than 20 minutes, which is really early on. So Aydin should find some pace now when he's in clean air with nobody around, not a lot of traffic in this round. So if he has something in reserve, now's the time to put it on the table. because otherwise it's going to become a bit more stressful for him.
Gap now to 17.5 seconds. I don't know what Drago Simeon is doing, but he needs to stop it because he's losing a little bit of time in every lap. Both Kim and Delphinis were in the 54s last time out. Now that's the second time for Delphinis in the 54s. Impressive from Petsas 55. He's gaining on Check 12.4 seconds the gap. And why did I didn't... Oh, okay, no, it's nothing. So it's just a glitch on my screen. 3.1 Check now to Parthenis. Check is clearly pushing. He wants the 5th place or even the 4th place. And Tufeanu is still gaining more than half a second per lap from Aydin. So we are seeing a battle developing now for P3, the last place on the podium.
On the other hand, yeah.
Sorry, the Delphins must have made a mistake because he lost 3 seconds immediately to Simeon.
Could be. On the other hand, what if the Greek teams didn't collaborate, the Romanian ones less so, but the Turkish ones, what if later on Sensible would play it for Team Anatolia? Wouldn't think so yet, but it's a possibility.
Yeah.
If they can't do it, at least why not give it to their nation mates, I would say, their co-nationals. We'll see about that. Cătălin Tufeanu, less than 8 seconds now. Aydin keeps on being a bit slow, but as you were saying, Dragoș Simeon, he has a lot in reserve in terms of pace and consistency, which can only mean one thing. It's a big risk there for him. Drive-through would throw him down 2 places at least, in a car that could have been way further ahead. Remember, Victor Nicolae had issues in that car. He had to recover to bring it back to first place. So still, it's not that easy for the leaders.
Tufeanu under 8 seconds now. Petsas still doing personal best times 55.1. Again, a lap deleted for Simeon. They have to be careful with the track limits. If they get too many warnings, that would result in a penalty. They don't want that. Best scenario possible would be a win and the championship. They don't want anything to go wrong. What's the penalty for track limits? A drive-through penalty?
Indeed.
It's a drive-through penalty. Yeah, that would cost them some.
But there's a missing chain in your explanation. Just by having a lap time deleted, it means that you went off track. But It doesn't matter how many times you go off track, because only the times when you gain something by going off track are counted as warnings. That amount when you reach out to the 4th warning, you get a drive-through. If you didn't gain anything, if you lose time when you're going off track, then there's no penalty in that. We are in ACC at least. In iRacing, all the off tracks matter, but thankfully we're not in iRacing now.
Yeah, but if you go off track, it means you widen the turn. So maybe by going a little bit more conservative, you will lose time and be between
it
the
depends.
lines.
It's a fight between the Simracers and the algorithm. They know very well where the actual track limits are. They are practicing just for that. They need to understand all the time where you can get a warning and where the track limits are lenient, and you can explore those astroturfs, the outside curbs, or some asphalt bits, like you have, for instance, in turn 4, exiting the Mercedes Arena. That's one interesting point on this track, where you can extend a bit, shorten your stay there on the outside, and gain some time there before getting a warning. If you drift too much on the outside of turn 4, then you will get a warning. But yeah, that's an interesting spot.
Gap has stabilized between Aydin and Tufeanu. Partheni 6 seconds. ITZ cannot keep up the pace with them, and Petsas is starting to close the gap. It was 12 seconds to 3 laps ago. Now it's 10. Interesting, very interesting. And also let's see what Schiopis can do with Savescu for P8, gap under 5 seconds, and he's closing the gap. He just did a 55.5 personal best for the car, the 923, gained half a second the last lap.
Yeah, things don't look good for Aichicek now. That's what I can say. He's down in the 56s now. Tufeanu is going strong. Aydin is decent now. Parfenis is just like Aydin, if not faster. But Aichicek is dropping his pace there, and that's not a good sign for him.
In the 56s. Personal best for Delphine is 154.6. Gap again under 20 seconds. They're fighting. They're still fighting, Mr. Apex. The 987 car best result is third place in the second round of the championship. And I have to say, with 24 points for second place, they will jump up to 56 points. They are still in contention for top 3 overall. The number 987. But it all depends on what Team Anatolia and Sensible Racing will do.
Yeah, let's see about that.
They cannot overtake Omega Esports even if they win and do the fastest lap, because in a tie they have less wins than Omega, but they're in pretty good place to secure the second podium of the season and have a chance to be in the top 3. Let's see, Tufeanu now 6.2 seconds, he gained 8 tenths to Aydin. Okay, the battle is on for third place, and even if it doesn't happen in the next 5-10 laps, it will happen in the last half an hour of the race. 1 hour to go for the last race of Season 0 for Balkan GT Challenge, presented by F1 Action.
And Racing League Romania and Simracers. Turkey, it's a joint effort that we decided to do and give it a go. I think it went pretty well, exception of the last race where a lot of unfortunate things happened. We missed Omega today, who were the closest crew to challenge the Rapid crew, but they have had issues from the beginning with the second teammate. I mean, Harris has been there all the time. It was Panos Kirkos in the first race, but Panos Kirkos is also a real life race driver. Actually, he competed last week, if I'm not mistaken, and he won. So Harris had to race with Hurdakis, then he had to race with Klironomos this time around. He didn't manage to find someone to compete alongside him. But I think, apart from that, it was a pretty nice season. As an experimental season, you do expect things to go wrong. In my opinion, nothing did go wrong. everything rolled out pretty smoothly regarding the organization part of the Balkan GT Challenge. Regarding the participation part of the Balkan GT Challenge, there's a lot more to come. We only started with 3 nations that we managed to agree, and hopefully we'll see much more better things in the next season, Alex.
I'm convinced that we now have a good backbone for an even larger adventure in autumn. Once we finish our summer vacations, we can of course start planning now, then relax, see whether our ideas are good, and then come back with a proposition for all the countries in the region, because when you call it a Balkan Championship, of course, it doesn't just mean Greece, Turkey, and Romania. It means everything else that's in this area. And ever since we started, I was thinking that this test season would be the right way to understand and to show something to all the neighboring countries, to show what's the structure that we have put in place, in order to convince everyone and to invite everyone to join us for a fully regional championship, something that would have everything in place, starting from a prize pool to international recognition from world structures, from the esports world and from maybe motorsport world as well. I would like this project to have the best possible viewership and recognition, and I'm sure that we have found the right people. People had fun on track, but we also had fun in the kitchen of this championship. So I'm really looking forward to what's next, with probably a dozen countries invited. I think this test season really is a way of showing also which teams were serious about their efforts and who deserves to be on the grid in future events, in the future season. Of course, a more competitive season. Some countries in the Balkan areas have strong leagues. I'm thinking about Croatia, for instance. They also have a solid league, but also there are some glamorous, some really fast drivers from countries where you couldn't find, let's say, 5 or 8 or 10 crews, but you can have a strong crew from Macedonia, not just one, from Bulgaria, from Serbia. I know them very well, and other countries around us. So I think we have all the reasons to expect an even better Balkan season, the actual season 1. We called this one season 0, just to keep the expectations low and to be able to make mistakes on all fronts. Luckily, the number of mistakes for which we have to apologize has been quite reduced. This makes us quite happy, I would say.
I agree.
And I'm really confident that in the coming 3 or 4 months, we can easily and peacefully plan ahead a new season that will start in sometime in autumn. We're not going to fix a date now. Don't expect this from us. We want to make sure we give you the best experience. We have all the partnerships in place, and all the invitations accepted. Others have other schedules, other championships, national leagues, international involvement, everything else. We'll try and consider as many things as possible to be able to give you the best possible grid from all the Balkan region.
If we can call the season 0 a success, which actually is, imagine what we can do for season 1, the actual season 1, and it can only get better. And we couldn't do this without the two of you, Alex and Lefteris, and we couldn't do this without our lovely viewers who have been supportive throughout the first 3 races and now this one. We are in the last hour of the series, And yeah, next season I am pretty sure it will happen 100%. More entries, more excitement, more battles, more drama, more overtakes, many more fights for the win. And yeah, I am already. I already look forward to commentate.
More of this, more of that, but I can tell you something that's going to be less in the next season. There's going to be, of course, in my opinion, to have a fair distribution within the region. There's obviously, and yeah, I'm sorry, there's always a negative in every aspect.
Yeah.
There's going to be less cars from each country. So the ones that really performed in this championship, of course, they will be prioritized when it comes to being invited for the next championship. We didn't define any criteria yet, whether we're going to take the standings of this season, whether we're going to have some pre-qualifications. We don't really know now. It's way too early to say, but rest assured, the teams that made a good impression on the organization team now will of course be there on top of the list for the next adventure that we're planning, because that's the way it goes when you're volunteering, when you're doing it in your own spare time. Of course, you want all this effort to be dedicated to the ones that give you something in return. You treat them seriously, they treat you seriously. That's the only way it works. So until this becomes, I don't know, a huge economical success, it's still the passion of people who are doing stewarding, who are managing teams, who are building servers, who are organizing everything you see here. We have all the right to, I don't know, select our customers in a situation like this. I don't want it to sound rough, but sometimes you gotta be and have objective criteria to decide who's worthy of everything we are putting in place here, and who's not yet ready to receive all this package.
If there is one wish I have for the next season, is to have 1 or 2 races with a longer distance, like 8 hours or 10 hours, and the teams can opt to add the third driver just for the big endurance races. For these 1 or 2 races, that would add more excitement, maybe some more work for us in the commentary booth, but honestly, it's gonna be great. I don't know if you agree on this one, but yeah, a jewel in the crown, let's say.
I'm 100% ready for longer races, and also if we're gonna have less teams from each country, I think it's gonna be easier for all these teams to define reserve drivers.
Exactly.
Because for now, a lot of teams they didn't snub the championship. They really had issues in finding other drivers because those who were close to them were already signed in for the championship in other cars. So that's why it was really hard to find the reserve when we had 10 crews out of each country. But when we'll have less, then it's gonna be probably easier. Let's say if they will start grouping Rapid from 2 cars to 1, Omega from 2 cars to 1, Roadrunners, same thing for them, and other teams that had 2 cars in the series, they should have the liberty of choosing who to align in each round. Of course, we're definitely thinking about a longer season, not just 4 races for season 1. This has been an experiment enough for us to realize the potential of our concept. But as for the rest, it's gonna be a full-term engagement probably for the next Balkan campaign. It doesn't mean it's gonna be more frequent than 1 race per month, but why not do it for 6 or 7 months?
Now, as we approach the final pit stops, there are 2 battles brewing right now: Parthenis and Aicicek, and Savescu and Siopis for places 5 and 8. The
Yes,
gap has
Aicicek
been going down lap by lap, and also Tufeanu has reduced the gap to 4 seconds from Aydin, the battle for the last place on the podium.
Yeah, Ajicek can now really make an impact on Parthenis. That's for sure. He gained 1.3 seconds in the last lap, but more than that, quite hard to see it happening until now. Tufeanu is also approaching the end of his stint, so he might give up on this chase and leave it for Robert Prepelice to attack Aydin. Let's see whether Prepelice can match this beautiful pace that Tufeanu is displaying right now. It's still unclear to me whether Aydin can hold on to that third place. Ajicek, told you he needs fourth, but for now I cannot see that happening. He's really struggling.
Yes, and don't forget that earlier Sanandidis couldn't find a way past the 555. So it's not a guarantee that Tufeanu will actually overtake Aydin. It's again a Porsche versus BMW, and we know that the Porsche is not so fast in the straight line speed.
Indeed, it's gonna be difficult.
Gap in front still 20 seconds. This is very interesting. It stays stable, but Drago Simeon knows he only has to bring it home now and secure the championship for his team. Leftari, I don't know how you see things from here on, and if you have anything to say regarding our thoughts about the next season.
Well, it was a nice brainstorming season. I agree with almost everything that you have in mind for the next season, and of course there are even more ideas to give life to them. The only thing that matters is that the mood is there, and the mindset has been pretty similar, if not the same, from day one with Alex and Racing League Romania, even from the very first friendly event that we did at Spa a couple of years ago, and we have been talking about it all this time. We brought it to life all together today, and I'm pretty happy with the results. I'm pretty happy with the collaboration. A huge thanks goes out to those I will call them heroes behind the screens, who act as live stewards, who are always there from the beginning of the race to the end of it, and they will have to put up with all the frustration because nobody wants to get penalized and nobody likes it, and in very few cases people accept it. They have a hard job to do, but they do it brilliantly in my opinion, and they play a key important role throughout this season 0. Hopefully we will have them in season 1 as well. And yes, as you both said earlier on, there's a lot of more nice things to come. Regarding this race, I don't think anything will change for Dragos Simeon and Victor Nicolae. They're actually lapping cars during for the rest of the 45 minutes that are remaining. Panagiotis Delphinis and his teammate Panagiotakopoulos did a very solid drive today, and they are in P2, and I think they will stay there. Tufeanu is flying actually, but not consistent all the way, so he still remains a threat for Aydin. And Ajicek, same goes for Ajicek. There are laps that he's flying, then he loses some time, he closes down to Parthenis, then loses the gap again. The only closest battle that was about to happen was between Siopis and Savescu, but Dragos Simeon lapping him spoiled it. So we'll see for the rest of the 44 minutes what to expect.
You were saying about the live stewards, I think everyone was very considerate. I haven't heard about the live stewards being abused by contestants. I must confess, sometimes the arguments are quite heated, but it didn't really happen in this series. As far as I know, nobody complained to me from the stewarding office. Drivers, of course, in the heat of the moment, they might be annoyed, but they took it professionally, so they never went with the wrong attitude to ask for clarifications from the stewards. So that was once again good behavior, and I must underline this good behavior because otherwise we are more reluctant in doing things if we don't see this good behavior. As of now, we have action in the pit lane now with the leaders. Dragos Simeon is in for his final pit stop, so momentarily Delphinis takes the lead of the race. Also Siopis is in for his final pit stop of the race and of the season. Let's see when we will have pit stops in that area from P3 to P6 where it matters most. Aydin, if he's pitting or not, Tufeanu Parthenis and Aicicek, because those are the pit stops where a tiny delay of 2 or 3 seconds that can always happen if you don't stop correctly, or if they drop you off, might leave you vulnerable to an attack.
Dragos Simeon rejoins the track in P6 behind Volkan Aicicek, who is still hunting down George Parthenis. Delphinis has inherited the lead. He has a 27-second gap to Aydin, who is still fighting for the 3rd place with Tufeanu. He pitted 37 minutes ago. Tufeanu pitted 45 minutes ago, and Aicicek pitted 49 minutes ago. So we're expecting maybe Aicicek first.
Probably.
And then the others should follow. It will be an easy splash and dash for the end of the race and for the season 0 of the championship. There are still battles going on. Parthenis has had in the last 5 to 10 laps his pace has been solid. He hasn't let Tufeanu to open the gap a lot. It can still change until the end of the race as the sun sets down. It's 8:26 p.m. Track time. Right now, Aicicek is closing, and now Panopoulos pits for the Aston Martin. What was the other battle? It was Savescu in the 51. He's in 8th place with the Mercedes, fighting Siopis in the Audi 923. Let's see when Delphinis will pit. He has a huge lead to Aydin. I think he and Simeon, as Tufeanu pits, have secured their places on the podium. Parthenis also pits. Okay, this is interesting. And Aicicek pits. Okay, now let's see.
Yeah, three out of 4 are in the pits right now. So there's only Aydin waiting there. And now I'm wondering when will Aydin pit, because his lap times weren't great, but is he actually a very, very fast driver that was trying to fuel save there? Yeah, I don't think so. I think we'll expect him soon.
Will they change tires?
Yes, everybody will. Especially in the new update 1.9.2. It's really, really hard to even consider a splash and dash for more than 20 minutes. It's gonna be hard. So everybody who is pitting now is changing tires. Fixed amount of 30 seconds.
No!
Tufeanu made a mistake. It's goodbye for that crew, unfortunately. Cătălin Tufeanu gets a drive-through, speeding in pit lane. I don't know if it was at the entry or the exit, but this is important because he will drop behind Aicicek. Yeah, this was a car that Aicicek couldn't reach So now for Ajicek, it's all about catching Parthenis. If he catches Parthenis, he's the vice champion. I wanted to say before these pit stops that I am still expecting something important to happen in this race, and it surely did. It's this drive-through from Cătălin Tufanu that leaves at the moment again the BMWs first, second, third, and fourth. And Ajicek needs to do something about it. He needs to pick up one BMW. The BMW of Parthenis is the one he needs to of Procos now is the one that he needs to catch. Difference is 2.9 seconds. So it's time to shine for that shiny Ferrari. Let's see whether Ajicek can make up a place, or who knows, maybe he can get that place in another way, in some unfortunate way, from one of the podium contenders.
Maybe they can even both jump Aydin. You know,
who knows?
The gap was around 10 seconds, so if they halved the gap after the last pit stop. So I don't know, no, with the fresh set of tires, maybe they can close even more the gap and apply pressure on the Turkish driver. Let's say it will be very close until the end, and I'm very disappointed.
They can politely ask Aydin to move aside for the vice championship.
And Prepelica gets a drive-through as well. Oh no, sorry.
Yeah, it's the
got confused. Sorry. But before coming to Nurburgring, if somebody would say that the Turkish crew of Team Anatolia would be coming up second in the Balkan GT Challenge, might say that you were crazy. But after Nurburgring, during Nurburgring, for the last 37 minutes, it's all open now.
Yes.
36 minutes remaining. Delfinis, Aydin still need to pit, so does Savescu. Those cars are, I would say, out of position now. Robert Prepelica will fall down around Vuduris behind him, I would say 23, 24 seconds, something like that. So he's gonna lose a few spots there. Let's see. I'm expecting him to come in this lap or the next one. He has 3 laps to serve his penalty, and it's clearly the time to do it. I would say that as long as Aydin does 55s now, 2/10 only down on the best time of that car, he's clearly not fuel saving, so I'm expecting him in the pits whenever he wants. He might try to do that splash and dash. He had 80 minutes of drive time left after Gunesius stints, which means that he can try to do 65 plus 15 and the splash and dash, or he can split them and take new tires if he comes in now, as Robert Prepelica comes in now to serve the drive-through, and we'll see where he's gonna be compared to Vuduris, because that's the area. He will lose a lap to Delfinis, but Delfinis will also be pitting. So
guys,
agonizing time.
It's 10:30 here. At this point, I have to go to get prepared for the qualification practice of Formula One. I would very much like to thank you for this amazing season. Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Lieutenant. Thanks to everyone who has been with us throughout the season. It's a good night for me. Have a nice finish. I will try and watch as much as I can from YouTube the rest of the race. Again, a huge thank you for this opportunity to be in the commentary booth throughout the season. See you next year. And yeah, have fun. A good night. And we'll talk again. See you on Monday for the Formula G round 7. From Circuit of the Americas. Good night from me. Ciao, ciao.
Thank you, Stathis. Good night. Ajicek now 1.8 behind Procos.
Delfinis is now in the pits as Robert Prepelica has joined right behind Vuduris, so he's now in a direct fight. Ajicek still needs to find some time there. and it's all happening now. Aydin will be leading the race for a while, as Panayotopoulos has now taken over the 987 car. Of course, he's behind Dragos Simeon once more. It's gonna be a net P2.
Yeah.
But Aydin is currently the leader of this race until he will also pit, because that's probably what he will be doing. What's the strategy for Aydin? This is our question. But for Ajicek, it's gonna be easier to just focus on Prokos and catching him, and he's doing just that. 1.1 seconds is now the difference. He sees the direct opponent right in front of him as they steer right into turn 1. Yeah, it's really complicated to what Stathis is doing here, switching from Formula 1 to sim racing and back to Formula 1. I'm used to this, to commentating a lot of races at a time, or switching from race engineering to commentating and all of it, that in between. So a lot of appreciation from my side for this type of mental effort of switching from one to the other.
Yeah, he's a motorsport journalist for Gazeta here in Greece, and he has to cover the Formula 1 weekend. As Ajicek is down to 0.6 and Prepelica down to 0.9 behind Vodoris. They always seem to do it in excellent coordination, so that we do not know what to show. But in this case, we will have to stick with Ajicek, because they're about to do something extraordinary, given all the data we had before the start of this round.
It is extraordinary indeed. Aydin does a 57. What is he trying to do here? Is he trying to fuel save? Ooh,
yeah, that's weird.
This is crazy.
Yeah,
this is crazy. If he's attempting to pull this off, of course, Dragos Simeon is quite close. He will reach him. He took 3 seconds, precisely 3 seconds, 3.000 last time around. Dragos will be there in no time, but Panayotopoulos not so sure about it. The difference is now 30 something.
Yeah.
35, 36 seconds between Aydin and Panayotopoulos. Let's see how much time he will lose if he attempts to go until the end. Let's see whether.
Ajicek dives from the inside. Amazing move. Amazing move. I don't know how he managed to break there and make it through the corner.
Me neither.
I don't know.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible move. Of course, Prokos was very polite there.
Yeah.
But either way, I thought that Ajicek will steer right into him and not make the corner as he did. It's lovely move. It's the move that seals it for Ajicek. If he remains there for another 30 minutes, that's the mission for Volkan Ajicek. That's how you do it. This is the decisiveness you need in order to attain a big prize like being vice champion of the Balkan GT Challenge. You need to do it like this with people like Prokos who are very hard to pass early on in this race.
Yeah, we saw it early on in the race that it's a difficult scenario. So maybe Ajicek was informed or saw it. He saw the opportunity, he didn't leave it to go to waste, and as you said, yes, Prokos was polite there, but Ajicek actually didn't leave any gap for not being polite or attempting to close the door, and somehow he made it stick, and there you have it.
Now, why would Prokos think of anything else but finishing this race in a good position, taking good points out of the final? There was no real point. Ajicek needed that place a lot more. He was clearly faster. He came from 3 seconds down, and the rate of annihilating those 3 seconds was impressive from Ajicek. So Prokos knew that it was a question of time. It would have been very hard to get into the mind of Vajicek and make him do mistake or stuff like that. At the end of the race, you may do your calculations, think about where you'll end up with a P4 or a P5, and if it makes no difference, then why risk it?
It's time for Prepelica to find a way through Voudouris. Closer than ever before. 28 minutes to go, and that Porsche is really doing pretty well tonight.
Sure is, sure is. Wide there, the Ferrari. And Prepelica puts the pressure now on Voudouris. And moves past. He moves past. He's now up to P6, which is where I think he'll end up, because Prokos is 18 seconds ahead, which is a huge gap now. Aydin, he did a 57, now he does a 55. So that's clearly not a very conservative lap time again. But Dragos Simeon takes 1.4 seconds out of him. The gap is now down to 3.8 seconds. Dragos Simeon will be there really soon.
A very, very nice performance from Cervio this Saturday, and it could have been better if it wasn't that unlucky moment with the drive-through penalty. But it came as a present to Vajicek, who I'm sure was not expecting to finish the season in P2 with his crew, Team Anatolia. But everything is in his hands now.
Time for me to check the a few details, a few technical details, to see whether Aydin is going in a conservative fashion compared to Dragos Simeon.
Yeah, 156 his last time around.
Now they are both in the same engine map. He's not coasting a lot. It's just his natural technique now, so I don't think he's attempting anything. A car that's slow in front of the 93. It's the 88.
It's Davidis.
Yeah.
He is on the grass. He will rejoin now. With so little cars participant, he doesn't even have to be careful. He just joins the track. Nobody's coming.
Yep. Nobody is coming. Dragos Simeon 1 second behind Aydin. So he's carefully crafting the final overtake that he needs to do in this championship, except lapping traffic, if there's any. Not really the case now. But now he's closing in on Aydin. Panayotopoulos is 30 seconds behind. Nothing to worry behind. Dragos Simeon is way more consistent in this stint.
Yep.
When it comes to his lap times. He stayed somewhere between 15 to 20 seconds gap to the 987, but now that gap is almost double. So clearly he's doing a better job now. He's probably motivated by the fact that he didn't really know what Aydin will be doing. And of course they want this victory. Of course they don't want to leave anything to the others. We would have loved to see all three nations winning races, but for Turkey it's gonna be another good prize if they become vice champions. It wasn't really clear that they had a crew capable of being this high up in the standings, but in the end, with everyone else leaving points on the table in more than one occasion. Team Anatolia was there to collect those points. And from a natural, I would say P4 or P5 probably in the championship, they finished P2 just because Omega didn't show up here and had the incident in Silverstone. The second Rapid crew had so many issues, and other crews also had a difficult time, I would say. There were more crews that could have had similar pace to Anatolia, but aren't there in the standings.
Well, in racing and sim racing, consistency is the best factor to give you the best rewards. And
even in short championships like this one, it's still a matter of consistency. So that's how important it is.
Yeah, and Team Anatolia was consistent, was there in every race, had some consistent results, and now they get the best reward that they could hope for. While
get their championship line
is closer than ever to Aydin. I think he will make a move here.
Let's see whether Aydin defends. He's in the middle of the track, but nothing really clear. And now Simeon breaks on the inside. Aydin has nothing against it, and there's the lead of the race changing from Turkey to Romania, from Aydin to Simeon, who led this race in the majority of it. It's a logical result. Aydin cannot, if he wants to do a splash and dash, it will take him like a drive-through plus a few seconds to stop for fuel, so he will lose second place as well. He'll be back where he thought that he would be, behind the 987. So if he makes his calculations now, it's not really worth it.
Yeah.
He can do whatever he wants now. Come in for tires or not. Aicicek, he's far behind Panayotopoulos. So Aydin is set for P3, which would mean, you were saying about consistency, that Team Anatolia can become vice champions without any podium finish in this series.
Yep.
P8, P5, P4, and probably P4 in this race as well would be enough to finish P2 in the overall standings, which is again very impressive.
Very impressive, and well done for them for being that consistent and being there to exploit any opportunity that opened the door in front of them. Of course, still 21 minutes. I won't say any more about Aicicek because we saw what happened last time.
True. Let's see what Aydin decides when he will come in. I think he has committed now to the splash and dash. Otherwise, he would have split his driving time into two equal halves. So he will come in the final 3 or 4 laps, something like that. Get in some fuel. There's no point for him to fuel save now. He's only trying to manage his tires to have some tire life remaining there. But Aicicek is pushing, so I'm really curious about this difference. If he can do something about Aydin just by pushing in these final 20 minutes, because Aydin will not have the tires to be able to push, despite not saving any fuel.
He's clearly struggling, and Aicicek is clearly pushing. We'll see the result of that equation in less than 20 minutes. To round
Robert
up,
Prepelic, Robert Prepelic cannot do anything about Prokos. Prokos cannot do anything about Aicicek. Ever since the overtake happened for Aicicek, Prokos has been quite slow. He's really not settling into a good rhythm right now, but his gap to Prepelic is big enough not to be a concern. At the end of it, he'll be content with that.
So Boltasu is in the pit. He had a DSQ. We do not know the reason yet. Davies is still left. He's making his debut at the Balkan GT Challenge, replacing Psifidis, and his teammate Soropidis is replacing Kosinis. Panopoulos is in P10, Mistrianou in P9 for the crew of Monday Racers. Siopis P8 for Elas in purple. Vouduris on his debut, a pretty decent drive, P7. Prepelica already, Alex explained to you what happened to one of the best performances of Servio we have seen so far in the Balkan GT Challenge. Prokos steady in P5, a steady drive with his teammate Parthenis today. Aichicek, I won't even comment to what this crew has achieved tonight. And as I said early on, Panagiotakopoulos and Delphinis pick it up from where they left it in our domestic league. They found a way to make their BMW the fastest in our domestic league and win in Nurburgring today. They are in P3, and
did you have the Omega crew in that race?
Oh yes, oh yes.
So the BMW was faster than the old Porsche in the hands of Harris?
It was a combination, because Harris had the back of the grid penalty. After collecting a series of points, he had to start from the back of the grid. But Sarandidis was also there, who started the race in P3. In P2 was Takur, who is missing also tonight with Giannakopoulos. And Delphinis, the teammate of Panagiotakopoulos, was in P1, and that never changed. They finished the race, both legs of the race, in P1. On your screens you can see Aydin with Sensible Racing with a huge question mark above his cars.
It's very strange the way he's driving right now. If we can stay on board with Aydin, just look at how far he is from several apexes and corner exits. It's really clear where he's losing that time. And it's not about driving conservatively. He's not using all the track. I've seen him from the last corner. There were at least 2 meters left on the left side. Exiting the Mercedes Arena, nowhere near where you would cut those corners. There's a huge difference. You can see it here as well. Exiting the Dunlop corner again, not using the whole track on the outside. It's very, very interesting. Why is he doing that? There's no risk of damaging the tires or something like that. He's going just a bit too slow in some of the corners compared to other cars. We'll see it after the chicane in the last corner. I've seen him for 2 laps doing the same thing, exiting the last corner somewhere, I wouldn't say it in the middle of the track, but somewhere close to the middle of the track. Which is a bit strange to me. He is approaching that corner now. He can let the car drift wide to the outside. He took a bit of the curb now, but not all the curb. And in the Mercedes Arena, again, his lines are very dissimilar to what you would see in a car that tries to maximize everything. Here, in the middle of the track, in turn 1. Again, strange way of pointing it. Nothing towards the apex of turn 2. I'm not criticizing him. I just want to understand. In here, everybody's cutting a lot on the inside of turn 3. He doesn't even touch that curb. T4. Again, this was a more natural line. But either way, it's a bit strange to me the way he drives.
Yeah,
I'm not surprised the lap time is not there. I'm not surprised he's doing 57s like this. But if you wanna, I don't know, just fuel save or be conservative, then you just lift and coast. When you approach the braking points, you don't drive in the middle of the track.
I noticed as well, and it's totally different from the approach that Junesu, his teammate, had during his stint. And I'm not saying just to compare who's fastest of them both, but I'm just mentioning just to conclude that it's not a matter of setup on the car, because we saw in the hands of Junesu that the car could go over the curbs or could exploit.
It's a matter of confidence.
Yeah.
It's just about the confidence. If we switch on, let's say, to the leading car now, to Dragos Simeon, and take the same corners, the last corner and the Mercedes Arena, now that he's jumping all over the curbs in there, we can see that Dragos he's now driving at, I don't know, 95% probably. He's not pushing as hard as he can, but still there are some defaults that he has set, some ways that he cannot change. There's nothing he can do different once he learns the track in a certain way, and he explores different parts of this racing. He touches this inside curb in turn 2. He goes wide between 2 and 3, and now look at him in turn 3, getting the curb in the middle of the car, and then cutting turn 4 as well for the best possible exit.
Day and night, the difference between Aydin and Simeon regarding the approach of the corners.
Panayotopoulos 19 seconds behind Aydin. So if Aydin needs to stop for a splash, then he will lose that place. That's a given. If he can pull it off without stopping, which would be strange to me, then he's fine. He's been running for 69 minutes, I think. Something like that. Yeah. So he will be approaching the end of his fuel tank now.
Assetto also seems to have dropped his pace, since it's nearly impossible, if not totally impossible, to catch Panayotopoulos, but seeing Prokos not being able to pose any sort of threat, he just knows what he has to do, and he is just doing it.
The difference between Ajicek and Aydin now is less than a minute. So Aydin with the splash and dash, he would still be ahead of Ajicek. It's gonna be a 1-2-3 for the BMWs here. If no disaster strikes, if no disconnects or anything else, the logical result now would be this 1-2-3 finish for the BMWs. BMWs from all three countries, again, proving once more that there is a good balance between the three leagues, even if Greece had, I would say, was the best in numbers and in value overall. In the end, Greece will not give the champion of this series individually. The crew champions will come from Romania. Vice champions will be from Turkey, but they will win the nation standings after having won all the rounds. But that happened not just because they had teams winning the races or stepping on the podium, but also because in the midfield you always had enough Greek teams to score big points, important points, somewhere around P5 to P10. There was always an imbalance around there. The Romanians and Turkish crews, they were like 1 or 2 at the front, and not much afterwards at times. You can see it now as well. You have Romanian crews P1, P6 and P9. You have Turkish crews P2, P4, and that's it. So it's logical that when you add everything, Greece will always come on top, even when they are not in P1 or P2 in the races.
Yeah, it seems to me, I don't know if you will agree, but at least in the first 3 races there was That's what I sensed. Okay, I'm not sure that's why I'm talking about it. They gave me. I feel like they had a better collaboration as a nation, the Greek crews, during the first 3 races. While I remember Romanians fighting Romanians in 100% during those races, and the Turkish as well. Whilst the Greeks would always come in sort of an agreement regarding the race result, which of course didn't happen today. And that's why it was not easier, but it was more logical for them to score more points, because they would collaborate better during the first 3 races, in contrast to what I have seen from the Romanian and the Turkish crews, who clearly battle it out throughout each race. I don't know if you have the same taste from what we saw up until now.
I think that's a very valid reason. I would call it, the second reason. The first one being just to take the championship seriously and come at the races. So as a second argument, I think yours is really valid. I completely endorse it. From the Romanian side, of course I have the access to the chats from our league. Some of the conversations happened only between Romanians, and there was not a lot of fighting between them, but there was maybe an understanding that everyone kind of had his place, and the rivalries were a bit hard to be separated at times. You know how it is. I spoke to people from your league as well, like having Haris in our team. You cannot overnight. You cannot transform everyone from rivals to friends.
Yeah.
Some of them are able to play this duality easily. Now we're fighting for the same country, just like you do it in football. Yeah, everybody has
exactly.
You play for your club, but sometimes you play for your nation, and you have to leave aside all the Real Madrid versus Barcelona rivalries, or you name it. It happens the same in Greece, Turkey, or Romania. We all love our football, despite being fanatics of racing. Football is a big thing in all these 3 countries. And in all the Balkan region, I cannot say that there's a country that doesn't care about football a lot around here. So it's the same in racing. Racing drivers are selfish in the end. Even having an endurance format can sometimes pose this issue of sometimes the 2 drivers in a crew tend to rival each other. They always chase the fastest lap time. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it may be bad if they do not agree on strategies. I do remember having at times pairings that weren't really keen on going in the same direction of finding some common ground. Sometimes it was difficult, and it caused some tensions. Some people had to leave some teams. Happens all the time.
All the time. I agree. I totally agree. And since we're sharing, let's say, inside info, I know from the beginning that the Greek crews, they did manage to put any sort of rivalry aside, and they were working all together before every race. All 10 crews were working in the same server, sharing setups. And
can you imagine the level of collaboration if we didn't have that rule that forced them to have different cars? If everyone would have chosen the same car, it would have been a crazy way of collaborating.
Prokos did a small mistake. I saw him on the grass that evaporate the gap between him and Robert Prepelica, who is now 1.7 behind him. He definitely can see him, and when you see a car, that makes it easier for you to push all the way.
This is not over. Let's see whether Aydin will still pit or remain in second place.
That question
and let's see whether Robert Prepelica can make a final overtake for P5. He's jumping that chicane like crazy now, and he's trying to force another mistake. He still needs one more mistake, I would say, from Prokos. 3 more laps maybe till the end. Dragos Simeon is approaching the last chicane. It's gonna be close. We're gonna make some calculations. 350, okay. Yeah, Dragos still has 3 laps to go if he will not slow down. And that's gonna be an issue for those who are calculating right at the death.
Yeah.
For Aydin, it can be an issue if Dragos Simeon won't slow down for a couple of seconds. Let's see what Dragos decides to do. I will not influence this fight. He's not watching the stream now.
Yeah,
I won't tell him to slow down. If he wants to slow down, he's free to do it. He can do it if he's had enough of doing that extra lap. He doesn't need it. He has 20 seconds advantage now. But I think Aydin will be praying for Dragos not to go for an extra lap. It's interesting that they cannot collaborate. They are from different countries. I don't know if Aydin's teammate, if Guneshu is reaching out to Victor now, asking him not to do another lap. But it can happen. It can happen. I do remember these things. We got such requests in big endurance races from other teams.
Yeah, it's logical,
and whenever it helped us as well, or it didn't hinder us and it helped them, if we are friendly with them, then why not? We can always do it. But for now, I'm looking at Dragos Simeon, and yeah, he is slowing down a bit just by 1 second. It's probably not enough, and this will stress the hell out of Aydin.
It's all part of the game.
Yeah, Robert Prepelica less than a second behind Prokos now. So you can focus on that battle while I'll tell you if Dragos is slowing down in any way.
Very, very, very deep braking by Robert there in T1 closes the gap even further to Prokos. He knows that this is the last chance. Prokos can feel the pressure. A small mistake. That's the point remaining. Of applying pressure, forcing the driver that you chase to a mistake, and Prokos did another small mistake there.
So Dragos Simeon crossed the line with 2 minutes remaining. A lap around here is 1:55, 1:56. So he needs to drop another 4 seconds. Yeah, he's doing so. He's flashing his lights. It seems that he will be slowing down this lap. This is gonna be the final lap of the race. Oh yes, he left already 2 seconds in the first sector of the track. Yeah, he's slowing down again. It's gonna be the end of the race right now. I don't know what he's waiting for.
Is he waiting for Robert?
Robert still has one final lap to do the overtake. He's going to the last chicane now. He will enter his last lap shortly after. Now's the time for his attack. You see what he's doing?
Yep.
his headlights.
Going completely stealth there.
And now he's opening them again. And it's a touch there. That's how it shouldn't happen. Let's switch on to Dragos Simeon, who is coming out of the last corner. Slowly. And he's celebrating. The Balkan Championship is all his. Victor Nicolae and Dragos Simeon scored their second win, and with 2 wins, both of them having an interesting factor, they claim the inaugural title. Balkan GT Challenge Season 0 is theirs. Aydin manages to do what his teammate couldn't do, and he finishes the race in P2. with an 80-minute massive effort. Panayotopoulos finishes third, 3 BMWs from 3 countries, and now is the time for celebration. In turn 1, Robert Prepelic rejoins behind Procos, and he will attempt a final overtake, but for sure he's gonna get a penalty. So this is all academic, it's just gonna be for fun. If he finds an opening, he's gonna do it. But I think he's gonna drop a place behind Voudouris. No more than that, because the other cars are classified 1 lap down, so he cannot lose more than 1 place. But this has been an interesting fight right until the end. And we have our champions, individual champions, the Rapid Esports BMW of Victor Nicolae and Dragoș Simion. One race, Dragoș Simion couldn't race, so Victor did it with Sebastian Apostol. The other three
Robert Prepelic for a photo finish with the BMW of Procos.
Yeah, very close till the final moment. Yeah, that was a lovely fight once more. And that's
you have it.
That's the end.
On your screens, throwing the BMW everywhere. He has every right to celebrate. Dragor.
Fastest lap points.
That was weird. There was a lag, and the car went into the ground. It was a lag. But there you have Dragoș Simion and Victor Nicolae. They did it. Season 0 champions. And Cicek, what can you say about the crew of Team Anatolia?
Well, here we already have the champions. So stand up for the champions, Victor Nicolae and Dragoș Simion in the interview room already. Dragoș still celebrates on track. There's enough asphalt runoff to do all the donuts in the world. You made it, Balkan champions. Romanian champions, Victor and Seb 2 months ago, and now Balkan champions. Until Dragoș brings it home, we're gonna start the interview with you, Victor. This has been a tough day. You've been racing on the Nurburgring here and there and everywhere, but all's well when it ends well, despite not having the battle with Omega Esports. It was a challenging race, especially in your part of it. You had some fights. You were angry at a certain point. Or so it seemed from the outside. Tell us how you felt during your stints in this race.
Well, first of all, hello to everyone who's watching this stream. We had a fun race, I would say. It was quite intense in the beginning. I did that huge mistake in the chicane, where I spun by myself. But that made for an actual fun race tonight. This entire series has been fun for us. It's really an unexpected victory for us, because at times other teams were showing much better pace than us. But again, it shows that you have to be consistent, you have to do your thing, and well, maybe luck can be on your side. I would like to thank Dragoș, because in all honesty, he really carried me throughout the season. He did all the races, I missed one, and he's always prepared them in the most, well, let's say responsible way. Yeah, so thanks for organizing this series. I hope this season 0 has proven this can be an exciting format, and I think this type of series actually shows that you can have fierce rivalries and close battles all throughout the field. It's not only about the fastest drivers or the slowest drivers. I think during the 4 rounds of the season we have seen plenty of good racing, and I cannot wait for season 1 to begin.
Well, for sure it will. It will begin. We were discussing this. There are a lot of details to be established about season one, but one thing's for sure: we have a few months and the summer vacation to set everything in place, and then come up to not just the three countries that were in season zero, but to the whole region with a proposition for a lengthier, more interesting season with prizes, with a lot of nations involved, with a bigger grid, with everything that ACC and sim racing in the region can offer. In the meantime, I hope that Dragos has finished his parade lap and he's here to celebrate with us. Balkan champion, how does this sound for you?
Hello, everybody. To be honest, it feels very good. We didn't, like Victor said at the start of the season, we didn't have any expectations about this season. We knew that we are going to be fast, but also we knew that it wasn't the strongest calendar for the BMW. And yeah, to be honest, we had a lot of luck this season. Also bad luck, for example, in Kyalami, but everything turned out to be very good at the end.
So you definitely were enjoying your time in the series. At the end of these 4 rounds, how would you sum up this concept? What would be the high points? What would be the low points? What would you change? Probably because obviously the champions are expected to greet us in the upcoming season, and the feedback of all drivers, starting from the champions up to the ones that finished last, is essential for us in order to develop this concept.
Well, the only thing that I would improve is the grid. A lot more cars to be on the grid, to have a bigger grid, more in that way we would have a greater competition for everybody. And the thing that I liked the most about this series was the rivalry between all the countries. I mean, we were like in Romania, and I expect also from Greece and Turkey everybody to be like a big team, to not carry any rivalry from the intern championship or anything like that, and just compete for your country.
Yeah, that was the main talking point during our stream. I was talking with Afteri about it, about how we collaborate between the drivers from the same nation. This has been approved, and of course we're looking in for more. We also have in here in the chat the team that finished third, the second podium of the season. 2 podiums in 4 races. This is your way of saying that you counted in this season. What was your expectation in this race, knowing that the BMW is gonna be a strong car around the Nurburgring? And did the race surprise you in any way?
First and foremost, I would like to say a huge congratulations to the winners, to Victor and Dragos, for the championship and for their on another level pace today. To be honest, if we go back to the beginning of the season, and if you ask me that I would have 2 podiums in the end, I think I would be extremely happy. This race left us a little bit of a bittersweet ending. We were fighting for second, but I think we were outplayed and outsmarted by the guys in the second place with a different strategy. But overall, I think I would keep the high points. Hopefully, we improve on our raw pace next year and be even stronger.
Well, outplayed by that strategy of not of taking it to 80 minutes of a long fuel-saving stint. They tried it in their first stint with the first driver and failed for 3 minutes. Did you think that they can pull it off in your simulations with the same car, with the same BMW M4 GT3? Was it a high risk of running that strategy?
Don't think it was the fuel, the issue with the car. it might be feasible strategy, but from our side, I think we were very worried with the tire wear. I didn't think we could make it last till the end of the race, so at a decent pace. So we didn't even think about it. We split it in 45-minute stints and as much as we could, and push as much as we could. But yeah, the guys in the second place surprised us with that strategy. So maybe next time we'll think it much better.
You said about the tire wear, so my final question towards you is in regards to that. How hard was it to prepare for this race, given the fact that first you had ACC 1.9 changing almost everything, then two small updates, 1.9.1 and then 0.2, changing it even more from graining to excessive tire wear to not so much tire wear to everything was changing so rapidly that you couldn't really have a lot of time to prepare with the actual car for the actual conditions that you had today. How was it for you?
First and foremost, I would like to thank our very fast boy and ultimately the engineer for the setup that we had. We had managed to find a breakthrough, I think yesterday, with the setup. However, the past proved that well, the graining is much better, but tire wear is still very bad. So we didn't even think going longer than 45 minutes. It would be very bad for our tires. So we stuck to that plan. It wasn't the fastest ultimately, but yeah, we didn't have that much time to prepare with the update that late, to be honest. I think we did our best in terms of tire wear.
Was the same for everyone. Not a lot of time to prepare. So, Lefteri, if you wanna add something to our impromptu press conference, now is your time.
No, there's not much to say. They pretty much covered everything. I want to congratulate Dragos and Victor for managing to win this Season 0 championship. Maybe they do not realize the impact of it because it's Season 0, it's an experimental season, but we have plans to go bigger. So their names will remain as the very first champions of a series that we have big plans and expanding. I say again, they might not realize it. We might not even realize what is happening right now. But they are the very first champions and well deserved. It was not an easy season because it's only 4 races. You do not get many chances to win points. Instead, you have chances to lose points and never being able to recover them. But they did a solid job, and they're the well worthy champions of Season 0. Other than that, regarding Panagiotis Delphinis and Panagiotakopoulos, I told you earlier on in the show that Delphinis won the domestic league last Wednesday in Nurburgring, and actually during his interview he was humble enough to say that it was a matter of luck because Harris was starting from the back of the grid and Polemarchus and the rest couldn't catch up. But this is the proof that it was not a matter of luck. It was a matter of being getting well prepared for this race. I want to congratulate everyone for participating, and I also want to thank everyone for participating and honoring this Season 0 that we didn't know how it would go, but we saw how it went. I personally am very happy as it unfolded, and Alex the same, as we talked about it. It's a shame that we do not have the Turkish crew for the interviews tonight, but hopefully they will get the chance in Season 1 when we're ready to announce things. I want to thank Alex and the race stewards and everybody who took part in this voluntary effort for something big that we want to build. I don't want to hold anymore the drivers, Alex, because some of them were racing before, and even if not, 3 hours is a long time to race. So, Alex, I have no words to thank you for what we have managed to do all together here. And this is your chance to say good night before we close the stream and let the viewers get some rest until we meet again for season 1.
Usually it takes me a lot of time to say all these things, but this time, if this is my chance to say good night, then I'm just gonna say good night. We've had
no,
lovely time.
Don't miss that. If you wanna unfold things
for 12 hours, 12
yes,
hours
yes,
of
yes.
racing and like this. We've had a lot of time to discuss a lot of things, and it's a pleasure whenever I see people from all these 3 leagues racing it internationally, racing at very high level. I'm very proud, and the fact that we are able to help them in their development by giving them a chance to measure themselves to certain values. The fact whenever you see Haris Mitropoulos or Victor Nicolae or Sebastian Apostol or other guys in the biggest ACC competitions, and then you have them in your domestic leagues and in the Balkan Championship, you realize what you are lacking. The best possible way is to spot what they are doing, to talk to them, because they are open, they can share some of their secrets, and further develop your career as sim racers. This is what I want to see. I want to see people developing. I want to see the sim racers from this region becoming more and more relevant on the international scene, and I think we made essential steps in the right direction.
And
that would be all from my side.
And the key word that you said is proud, and I'm also proud for what we achieved, and I'm also proud for all the participants, especially those who were pretty consistent throughout the season. And I believe you will agree, we saw the development of the drivers as well, who took it seriously and who kept on practicing, and they got the results that they wanted. And I'm also happy to see crews that didn't give up, like the Team Anatolia, as we talked so much during the stream, that they managed, some would say out of nowhere, to become vice champions, but it's not out of nowhere. It happened because they were there and kept on fighting up to the last checkered flag. Once again, a big thank you to all those people who got involved in this event to bring it to life, and you, and to the viewers, of course, who supported it. You will all hear from us quite soon, I believe. Of course, we will have to plan, we will have to rest, everybody has to. And this is not definitely the last good night from all of us here in the TV broadcast. Have a wonderful rest of the weekend, and we will be back with season 1 of Balkan GT.